as we were gone, there was actually 2 getting cut as expected by the Miami Dolphins. So we'll dive back into Tyreek Hill, some of the odds on next team, and something that a doctor said about the injury that I think people need to hear in regards to Tyreek Hill. But we do start with Jerome Tang, who for the last couple of weeks we've been talking a lot about, whether it was 2 weeks ago, Cody, when it was the not being embarrassed by the 30-point loss to Iowa State. Then the complete shift to they shouldn't even be in a uniform. Yeah. Then they played Houston and they had no names on the back of their jersey or whatever it was. And then to now where, of course, he was let go Sunday night and fired. And, okay, you want to fire him? Totally makes sense. I don't think anybody is going to say, wow, what a terrible decision.
Yeah,
no, he simply has not won enough basketball games. After a great first year, it has been downhill every year since. And then you find out that Kansas State's trying to fire him for cause. And remember, that buyout is $18 million. And everybody kind of said, well, they might keep him because they can't pay the $18 million. Well, K-State made the decision, well, what if we don't pay him? What if we just don't pay him? Now, they're going to end up having to pay Jerome Tang, and they should. I actually think it is normal operating procedure for some schools to try to fight stuff like this. It's a terrible look, though. Jerome Tang, he should get his $18 million. Now, when it's all done, I don't know if they're going to settle or whatever. Well, Kansas went through this with David Beatty, former football coach, and that thing got dragged out for a while, and it was ugly, and it made both sides look bad in the process. And ultimately, by the time you go through years of litigation, it was a waste of time. It was a waste of time for everybody.
In what case is criticizing your team in a post-game cause? That would mean every coach.
Right.
Bill Self could have been fired for cause 80,000 times in his Kansas coaching career. It's embarrassing. It is truly embarrassing. And it's pretty clear. They wanted to fire Jerome Tang. They can't afford it or didn't think they could afford it easily. And so they were like, well, if we just tell him we're firing him for cause, maybe he'll quit for 12, 10. He'll avoid all the legal fees and getting lawyers and going to court just to get his $18 million because it's going to cost him $2 million in legal fees. Maybe he'll just take the $2 million in 2 years in legal fees just to get his dough. And maybe he won't want to fight it and he'll take a discount. That's what they're preying on. Go, that's no way to operate. That's a really terrible way to operate, as a matter of fact. Look, no one's blaming you for firing Jerome
Of course not.
Tang.
No, he needs to be. They need to move on.
K-State fans are probably happy this morning, I imagine. You're a K-State fan, I imagine, pretty happy that Jerome Tang is no longer the head basketball coach. And we can talk later in the show about who they might target and stop, live in the real world and don't say things like Brad Underwood.
Yeah, he's not leaving Illinois.
No, but, look, you could have had Brad Underwood maybe a couple times ago. But not now. And so, look, we can talk about the people available, and I think K-State fans should be happy with this. We got to pay the $18 million. Cost of doing business in college athletics. And because the type of coach he is, unlike the ones we talked about in college football in this whole last cycle, you are not going to be saved by any offset language because he's not going to be a head coach again. Or he's not going to be a head coach for any major university for any major amount of money, which means you're on the hook for the full freight. And if you didn't want to pay it, don't fire him. And do what Mike Norvell in Florida State have been doing. And even though he had like 3 wins last year, the man gets to keep his job. Those are the choices. Pay the $18 million or quit. I am with you. Embarrassing look for the program. To not the donors, but like the university to try to get out of this. I don't blame him. He hired a pretty good lawyer pretty quickly, didn't he?
He did. And look, that's all this is. This is trying to see if they can get away with not paying him as much as the full $18 million. And look, you can try all you want. And I don't know ultimately the outcome. The lawyers for Jerome Tang were telling On3 when they were asked about Jerome Tang's plans from the representation of Jerome Tang. This is the quote. Yes, of course, on filing a lawsuit, what do they plan to? But we'll give K-State's president and AD a few days to regain their senses before we pull the trigger. Here's the thing. You don't know none of us know. What dirt does anybody have on anybody? Does Jerome Tang have some info on Gene Taylor and K-State that they probably wouldn't let it be? I know he's going to make it seem like it's their fault. It's going to get ugly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's one thing to just dispute the actual contract language or whatever. I'm just saying if it gets to a point where you actually play this out fully, what dirt do they have on him, but what dirt does he have on them? And that's where it's not, I don't think it's worth the headache, Cody. You can say, well, it's worth $18 million. There's no scenario where they're getting away with not paying a single cent to Jerome Tang on them. There's none. Now, maybe you want to talk about they settle and it's $12 million or $14 million or something. Maybe. I don't know. People that are attorneys can tell me what the chances are of that. But there's no way they're getting away with zero. And is it worth all the public mess to go through? Because it's. I wonder, does it impact your next hire? Does that, like, if you're or do coaches just know this is the game, this is how it works? I mean, even Jerome Tang a couple years back talked about the process.
Get a contract extension and then get fired the second year. Because that's what they do in the NBA. They hire you to fire you, right? So get fired the second year, but then they have to pay the rest of my contract. And then my wife and I, Ray, we're going to fly around and go travel the world and build schools and orphanages.
That was, I don't remember the exact timing of that, but that was Jerome Tang.
Yes, it will impact the next coach. You're going to fire me and not pay me? Why would you want to coach at K-State if this is the way that they operate? Dead serious. And look, I don't know where K-State lands. Amongst the Big 12 jobs, it's probably like middle. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, there's definitely worse jobs in the Big 12 from a college basketball.
Out of the 16 teams.
But it's worse than, it's probably like 8th or 9th. It's worse than Kansas, Arizona, Houston. Like, I can list Iowa State. I can list the obvious ones that it's worse than. But it's probably like 8th, 9th, 10th. It's like middle of the road.
What I can't get over on the firing for cause part is, if it was so bad what he said the other night, if it was so bad with what he said post-Cincinnati, then why did you let him coach against Houston? It was so bad. Like, it was so embarrassing for the program and so bad.
Why did you? Uh-huh. He said he was on a flight. Sure. What do you want him to do?
Yeah. So
can't be firing people when you're,
traveling. They played on what, Wednesday?
Yeah.
So he was just impossible to get a hold of Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You know what happened in those meetings? They tried to decide, could we technically, via contract language, make an argument that we can fire this person?
And that's all it is.
That's all that took place. Yeah. That's why it took so long. They talked to their lawyers and tried to figure out if they were allowed to try to fire him for cause.
I think they're hoping there's a settlement. We'll talk to someone that covers Kansas State. Tim Fitzgerald's going to join us at 11 o'clock today from GoPowerCat.com. We'll ask him what he's hearing. Of course, the immediate fallout of this, and then looking ahead, and is there a name or two that's realistic for the Kansas State Wildcats? Everybody's got kind of their list that was thrown around. I saw multiple publications had some, and I think you're right. Anybody that has Brad Underwood on their list is just not living in reality.
It's not an outlet to be taken seriously, in my opinion. It's not a realistic name. If you, why? Just ask yourself that very serious question. Why would you leave a program currently with a team ranked in the top 10? Just because he liked your school once? He would have taken that job 5 or 6 years ago when you were extending Bruce Weber. But you didn't want to make that move then. He got a better job. So, it doesn't make any sense. And in the era of NIL, I do think that there's going to be more Kurtz and Yetis in not the success part, but I think there's going to be more guys who stay at their program because when they win, it'll be easier to just stay winning at their program because the NIL money starts flowing. The faucet turns on because you're winning. So in Illinois, no trouble with the NIL. The faucet's on because we're winning, Gold. And so I think less coaches will be likely to even take better jobs on papers in better universities other than the standard ones. Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Texas. The ones that the resources are so insane by comparison that maybe it won't matter. But I definitely think less people will leave. But yeah, if you have Brad Underwood on your list, I just don't think that's a realistic candidate. Maybe I'm way off.
So we'll talk more about it with Tim Fitzgerald at 11. Now to Tyreek Hill, who for weeks everybody was speculating, kind of knew as the season came to an end, even in Miami, that due to financial reasons, they were going to cut him. And they did. Tyreek Hill is an unrestricted free agent. Because he's a vet and an unrestricted free agent, he technically could sign whenever he wants. He doesn't have to wait till the league year starts. Yeah. Now, there's the injury part of it that could be a holdup. The Dolphins are going to save $22.8 million. So this is why Tyreek Hill was not surprised that he was cut. And naturally, we know he wants back in Kansas City. Heck, even Chris Jones has tweeted about, basically it's time. He tweeted out the clock emoji in regards to Tyreek Hill. So Chris Jones wants him back. Tyreek Hill has talked very fondly for years about Kansas City and his desire to return to the Chiefs. We discussed this 3 weeks ago, and I'll say the same thing I said there. Number one, he wants to come back. Do the Chiefs actually want him? I know Chris Jones says, but does Brett Veach and Andy Reid want him back? The fan base, do you want him back? Is it worth the headache? Do you think he is still that quality of player? Statistically, it'll say yes, but he also just suffered a devastating knee injury. And David Chow, former NFL team doctor, had this to say. I think this is really important, and it's something that I think everybody just assumes they sign him and he's going to play week one. Maybe not the case.
I'd love to see Tyreek Hill continue to play. His injury is significant, though. His early season injury was a knee dislocation. This was by video, an immediate worry for nerve damage, peroneal nerve palsy. He appeared to have the nerve palsy when he was seen walking after his initial surgery. He's said to need another surgery per his own post, and he's been cut by the Dolphins, likely with a failed physical designation, although that hasn't been specified yet. He won't be able to sign with another team until he can pass another physical, and so it remains to be seen when that might happen. He's 31, I believe, and any significant knee injury, much less a knee dislocation, is in the career-threatening category for the type of player that he is. I certainly hope it's not career-ending. I want to see him back. Where he lands will be a different story, and it seems more likely that would be closer to later this season or next season than right now. Wishing Tyreek Hill the best in his recovery from his knee dislocation and potential nerve injury.
So that's David Chow, former NFL team doctor. He's talking like, hey, he's not going to be available.
Might be ready for part of the season or a huge chunk.
This feels like the Odell Beckham Jr. thing from a couple years ago. It's not the same injury. That was an ACL. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you guys remember all off season, there was, noise about him going somewhere, and then got close to the season, and there was a report like he's told teams he's rehab is going well. He'll be ready in October. And then we all know the Rams acquired him, and he was great for them in the Super Bowl, and then he got hurt again. But that's the only thing. I feel like that's where this is trending. I don't think you should expect, even if the Chiefs were interested, I don't think he's getting signed anytime soon, Cody.
Okay.
Based off of that information, what kind of player is he going to be when he comes back? Because if he's a shell of himself, it's not worth the headache.
I am a little bit confused because it seems to be that fan sentiment is two different camps. I want young, fast, explosive players. I want 31-year-old Tyreek Hill coming off a devastating knee injury. That's the opposite. You're describing antonyms. These aren't the same. They're the opposite plan. And I think some of it is because you remember the good times and how open Tyreek Hill was, and certainly was, of all things, a great at beating man coverage, right? Which is the Chiefs' current issue as it relates. Yeah, before his knee turned backwards and everything went to shreds. And look, my guess is that Tyreek Hill was such an explosive athlete that he will still maintain some of that. And I still think that he was underappreciated for all the other things he was good at, not just speed. Speed was not his only game. He was great at route running, great at running inside the offense. And I think it's very clear, as I think we pointed out a couple weeks ago, Tyreek wants back bad.
Totally.
I'll just tell you right now, it's not he wants back. I don't know if he wants back at any price, because the Chiefs are not going to be the highest bidder for Tyreek Hill's services. So he's going to have to want to play here more than he's going to want money. And the last time he was given the choice between playing in Kansas City or money, he chose money. So, he's going to have changed his philosophy towards the end of his career, which he might, and decide, I'd rather ring chase with Patrick Mahomes than take one more stack of cash, even though my leg ain't right. And so,
is he getting that stack of cash anywhere, though?
I think
I understand the production.
I think he'll get more than he would in Kansas City.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think the production would tell you that there should be suitors, but I think this is not just a torn ACL, as you just heard the audio. I mean, this is a very, very serious knee injury. So could he pass the physical right now anyway? And so if you're a mid-season signing, then the money is almost not even much of a problem at that point, right? I mean, there's only so much the money's going to be if you're playing half a season. And I'm not saying definitively just because David Chow said it that 100% no chance he's ready week one, but that's pretty telling. And I feel like nobody's discussing the possibility. Everybody's just mentioning, they should sign him or not sign him without even acknowledging that. Like, you could sign him and he might be on the PUP list. He might be on, I guess it'd be the PUP list, to start the season.
Look, the one part that's really tough with this, and this goes back to the winning part up until this year. Now, this year, I think you got to look at things longer and take a look at these things a little more carefully and all this other stuff, because no team and no group of players like reunions more than them, right? Like you mentioned Chris Jones. Chris Jones is talking about Mike Pennell, who they did eventually bring back, and every other player under the sun. Patrick Mahomes talks about the guys he likes and all this other stuff. Like, we've seen this time and time again. And the Chiefs as an organization value reunions. And in fairness, the Patriots dynasty valued reunions more than any other team in the NFL at that time. They love just bringing people in who know the system, operate within it. You don't have to teach Tyreek anything. Hey, man, here's the playbook. We added 5 things. Concepts are the same. Good luck. Head on out. And they value that for whatever reason. This ain't it. If you want, and look, and I'm not even for this one if Travis Kelce comes back, but if you want a veteran wide receiver to immediately step in and contribute, just go get Evans or something. Let's not do this. But every time you bring in a veteran to try to stabilize things, it doesn't have to be the veteran who was already here. It doesn't have to be Dana or Pinnell. Other veterans can do valuable things for your organization.
I know people are down on Xavier Worthy because of year 2 and what he's looked like so far, but that's the other thing. You bring in Tyreek Hill, then what's Worthy's role? I mean,
he's reduced to a very small
That's my other thing. You bring in Tyreek Hill, I don't want him being the number 2 receiver. But
he would be.
He would be if he's available all year. I would almost argue, in a weird way, if David Chow, the doctor, is right, that he's not available till mid or late in the season at the earliest.
He should wait to sign.
Well, then I actually think the odds are more likely he comes to Kansas City, wouldn't it? Like, wouldn't the odds increase? If I told you that he's not signing anywhere and he's not available and teams are not wanting to just sit him on the PUP list and pay him and all this or whatever, if he's a mid-season acquisition, it would probably make it more likely he comes to Kansas City. Now, I will say the offshore odds are out, of course, for where he could land. The Chiefs, no surprise, are the favorite, Cody, 4-1. Buffalo, 5-1. So is he going to go from Kansas City to Miami to Buffalo? We'll see. The Giants, 6-1. Broncos, 7-1. That'd be pretty interesting all of a sudden if he was on the Denver Broncos. Packers, Niners, and then the Raiders. Those are the top 5-6 teams or so to land his services as of now offshore.
And some of those are taking the check, and some of those are going to a winning organization. I do think, and I don't blame him, he went to Miami for the check, and he found out how the other half lives, and it's not fun. Like, fringe playoff team or just not a playoff team at all. It's not a fun way to operate when all you've been doing was going to AFC championship games and Super Bowls. So I do think this is a part of him, based on just as long as he hasn't been terrible with his money, and I don't know. He's got a lot of kids, so I imagine that doesn't come cheap in this world. What he does?
No, he does.
That's a statement.
He needs. I mean,
that's not.
He needs every dime. Yes, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So I mean,
he just has had so. I mean, I don't have to rehash every little thing, but like he's just had everywhere he goes, man. There's always something. I mean, everywhere. We all know the Kansas City stuff, but just in Miami, you got the random marina dock incident. You know, the house fire thing, you're like, well, that's not his fault. I'm just saying, it always follows him, though, right? Then you had the traffic stop thing out front of the Dolphins stadium. There's always something. And if you tell me he's not the same Tyreek Hill post-injury, do I even want to mess with that? And some of you are fine with throwing the dice and saying, screw it. You've already been through it, so what do you got to lose? That's the text line, some of you. I can't get there. I'm not as interested. I actually think the only way I'm interested is if you tell me he's not ready till later in the year, and then let's follow back up on this in October.
I just don't know if I want I wouldn't say troublemakers, but 2 players that are in the wide receiver room that have a lot of
that are in the news.
Field, yeah, they're always in the news and have off the field problems. I don't know if I want that with 2 of my wide receivers. And if you're saying, oh, he's going to come in to be a leader, well, he hasn't really, I get it. He can show example, hey, this is where the sideline is, but that's why you bring in a new wide receiver coach to do that for Xavier Worthy.
I think it would be a damning indictment of Xavier Worthy if they brought
That's what I'm saying.
A damning indictment. I think that would them just saying, this guy stinks. Like, I'm dead serious. This guy stinks, and he has no chance to be a solid 2, and we don't know if we're going to sign Rashee Rice to a long-term deal, so we got to have somebody playing wide receiver, because Tyreek Hill's not even the long-term answer. So it's just a clear indictment on Worthy. More than anyone.
This is why I think
this is a Worthy problem, is what it's saying.
And that's why I think the midseason part makes more sense than if you acquired him and you planned on having him week 1. As odd as that sounds, it's almost a better spot if you tell me he's not available beginning of the year.
You're hedging your bet for later in the season where you're like, you know what? We're going to load up week 9 and rally the troops the rest of the way. It would feel less of an indictment in that case, in fairness, if he'd only played half of the season, but it does feel like it would be about him.
Someone says, to Tyreek's credit, he hasn't been suspended. He's on the field. I mean, I will give you that. That is true.
Gold just saying he's in the news, and there's always something going on.
That is fair.
No, he's never. It's crazy. He's never suffered a single suspension for any of the times that this stuff has come up at all.
That's true. That is accurate.
I was busy most of the weekend. I spent a bunch of time working on the kitchen on Saturday.
Is it done?
No, of course not.
No?
Well, you got to spray. So when you spray the cabinets, you got to spray, wait like 5 hours, sand, spray again. And on the cabinet doors, I got to do both sides. So you got to spray, wait. No, it takes forever. And then you got to take everything out, wait. No, it's not done. It's closer, though. It's much closer than it was.
So it's just, you got
all my stuff is back in the cabinets.
So half the cabinets are painted or just one side?
All of them are now painted.
Oh.
But they're not up. They're drying and curing.
Gotcha.
They're not physically on the cabinets. Now things are back in there. So I did not watch NBA All-Star Weekend. I was, however, surprised to see that they had 8.8 million viewers. I was like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah, this is misleading.
And I asked you, I said, was it awesome? Was it an awesome All-Star Weekend?
So
I didn't see a single dunk on Twitter, and that seemed like a bad sign.
Wow. So it was the worst dunk contest we've ever seen. And that's not, I don't think that's
not hyperbole?
No, because
no, it's terrible.
Jackson Hayes. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest, Cody, you go, I think I retweeted on my Twitter account if you want, at Alex Gold. It was just your standard dunk. His first, I mean, he just ran up and did the most basic dunk possible for an NBA player. It was embarrassing. Flat out embarrassing. The dunk contest has stunk for a while. When Max McClung's not part of it, it stinks. And he already had done it for 3 years. So, Cody, it was just a dunk. It was just like literally the most basic, normal dunk.
What was the cool thing he was trying to do there?
Nothing. He just did a dunk. So that was part of it. I think the ratings. The ratings are. They did not. The ratings are misleading because 8.8 million. You're right. It's the largest audience for an All-Star game. They have the new format this year. USA versus the world. Largest since 2011. It was on NBC. Viewership peaked at 9.8 million viewers from 7 to 7:15 Eastern on Sunday. The reason why I said it's misleading is they had 26 million viewers leading in from the Olympics that afternoon and evening, and they lost from 26 million down to 8.8 million. So, yeah, it's a large number compared to what they had, but they lost 2/3 of their audience that they had an hour before.
So the number of 8.8 is a lie. Next year, it's going to be
it's a real number. Yeah, it's a real number, but it's extremely misleading.
Yeah, for the same reason they bought the Super Bowl in the same year they had the Olympics. They're juicing all the stats across the board. Still couldn't get the most watched Super Bowl of all time. Now, in fairness, they were probably trying to juice up the Olympics viewership for the opening night ceremony more than that. So, I don't know, man.
I will say the NBA All-Star game
every
itself,
All-Star format stinks.
The NBA All-Star game itself was actually competitive. Like they were actually trying out there, and give credit to Wemby because he brought the juice, and even players were saying, well, Anthony was like, hey, listen, he brought the juice, so I had to bring it back. So at least there was a little bit of juice during the All-Star games, but the dunk contest and three-point contest was just like, yeah, I'm not watching that.
I genuinely think that the only thing that works for any of the professional sports, there's two things now that work for any of the professional sports. The Four Nations thing was awesome. I don't know if it'll continue to work forever if we were just interested for 1 year, but that was cool. And the Home Run Derby. Home Run Derby still piques my interest. Still enjoy watching them hit the ball over the fence. Somebody over on Twitch, Eyebrow, said that the three-point contest wasn't even any good. Like just an overall kind of bet. Now, look, the reason why I never going to admit defeat, he's going to say I had 8.8 million people. That's 4 times as many people watch the MLB All-Star
The reason why the three-point contest was a joke, Damian Lillard won it. He hasn't played all year in the NBA, Cody. Damian Lillard hasn't played a single minute in the NBA this year. He won the three-point contest. Yeah, that happened.
See, but I mean, we could say that
you gotta get people. I know who they are.
But when the guy won the dunk contest, what was his name, McClung, that everyone fell in love with, he had never played in the NBA. He was always in the G League.
Yeah, that's lame.
I understand.
I would rather watch a worse dunk from LeBron James than a better one from Mac McClung.
Yeah, but LeBron won't do it. Those guys will not do the dunk contest.
Write it into the collective bargaining. You want to actually fix the All-Star game? Say that you have to, once every 5 years, we're allowed to select you for a dunk contest or a three-point contest. Yeah. So sorry, Steph, every 5 years, we're going to make you drag your ass out there and shoot some threes. Whether you like it or not, we're not putting a guy with 0 minutes on an NBA bench do this. So in the next collective bargaining agreement, force participation. Look, if you got an injury, and some of them will certainly fake it, ooh, the hammy's tight, the back hurts, whatever.
Yeah, let's just get rid of All-Star Weekend, please.
That would actually be fine, too.
Just
Sprite
get rid of it.
pays them a bunch of money, so is it still Sprite? So, you gotta,
I don't know if it's Starry. It might be Starry, actually. Okay. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. I did not watch any of it this weekend, but I was curious to see the reaction. The bigger problem for the NBA is the tanking stuff, and they're trying to figure out what the hell they can do because the fines aren't going to stop the Utah Jazz from. It just doesn't matter with the crop of talent. So anyway, up next though, let's talk some baseball. Spring training first game is on Friday. You'll hear it right here on 96.5 The Fan. Let's talk about Jack Caglione and the potential for right field and how many games that could actually be. And we'll also talk about the other locals after we already discussed Kansas State. Let's get into KU and MU, who both suffered pretty big losses over the weekend.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I know it's been nice lately, but this is fall spring, which means you'll be working outside soon enough in those harsh conditions. And, with that and the new year goals, you're often looking about your new career, because we spent some time over at Centric getting to know some previous graduates, and what moved them to those new careers opened my eyes to those careers in IT.
Yeah, and learning the skills is only part of the journey over at Centric. They're going to turn the skills that you have into a career where people need you the most, or where people need the most support. Centric is exactly what you need if you're looking for those specific skills. And they have a whole career service team that's going to coach you through resume building, interview preparation, and guidance, along with landing a real entry-level IT job with local employers.
Make that first step. Schedule a short career pathway call with our buddy Russ. He'll help you decide what is the right fit and get you started there. That's Centric, CENTRIQ.com.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. February romance once again. Buy one toilet, get one half off. Who needs more jewelry? Nothing is more romantic than a beautiful toilet. Be original with your gift. What could go wrong? You know it's what your person really wants. So call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
QC Kinetics helps active people stay active. People like David Boardman, police officer, competitive athlete, and gym owner who trains hard almost every day.
My body's taken a lot of abuse over the years. I've had multiple knee surgeries on both of my knees. I could barely run a mile prior to going to QC Kinetics. Doctors have all told me, hey, you are going to need knee replacements.
But QC Kinetics gave David great news.
We're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but two healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
And after David's regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics?
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week. I really wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for QC Kinetics.
From knee pain to Ironman training.
It's a no-brainer.
Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics to book your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. All your roles, fill them sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Ollie's deals are so good, you won't believe the prices.
This has to be a joke.
It's no joke. Ollie's Bargain Outlet sells famous brand name merchandise at up to 70% off the fancy store prices. Hurry in.
Ollie! Good stuff, cheap!
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Just getting started here on a Tuesday. Alex Gould, Cody Tapp with you. JT filling in for Drew today, producing the show. You guys can interact with us over on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, of course, the text line as well, 913-586-7965. We will get back into Jerome Tang's firing with Tim Fitzgerald. We had to move him just a little bit on the schedule, so around 11:10 now. Tim Fitzgerald from GoPowerCat.com will join us. But let's talk a little baseball, man. We do have spring training baseball, as I said, coming up this Friday. First one against Texas.
And
that first one on the radio feels good.
It does.
So we'll get that. Vern will join us tomorrow on the show from spring training. And, of course, our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. And we've discussed there's not a ton of jobs up for grabs during spring training, but a lot of questions about the outfield. What's Isaac Collins going to look like? Lane Thomas. Can Kyle Isbell follow up a career year? And then, of course, Jack Caglione, who was one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He's no longer officially a prospect anymore because he played enough games for that.
Yep.
But he is going to be your right fielder. The question is how much? Because they have said in the offseason they're not just going to hand him the job and all that. I think if all goes well, he's playing right field way more than we think.
So I was thinking about it more is there any chance he can lose the job? Like, is there a world in which Jack Caglione does not make it the entire season as a starter? And the only part that I'd say could make the argument, and I think we could talk about other players later in the week as well as it relates to this, like Noah Cameron or others, is this idea that they know that they are in a year in which they should make the postseason. And so, like, I think we could have this with different players just the same, but like, what is their conversation with Jack Caglione and how far are they willing to ride this thing out as it relates to his flexibility and whether or not it's working there? I think he probably plays. I think they're going to give him the entire season in right field. I think it'd be really surprised. I think it'd have to go bad. Like as bad as he was in the 50 games or whatever it was last year, bad. For, I don't know, more than half of the season? Because then they'd send him down to AAA and they'd do this song and dance again and they'd work through the option system and try to figure out a way to solve whatever the issues are. The other part is, I don't think it's going to go that bad. I think it's statistically very unlikely to go that bad. And so I think there's a good chance that if he hit so much as 230 with a 310 on base and just hit some home runs, he's playing right field. I think it's probably like 120 to 130 games. The only thing that's really tricky for them is how do they split up DH? And Carter Jensen.
Yeah, he's going to dictate a lot of that.
Yep, that's it. Cags gets more time at DH, in my opinion. Bobby, Vinny, all these guys get a few more games at DH if Carter Jensen doesn't hit. If I think Carter Jensen's going to hit, well, then Cags has to play right field. Like, where else are you putting him? Occasional game at DH, but occasional game at first, maybe, unless an injury were to happen.
I would say the only way I see a big shift is injury or he is not, the issues he had last year, none of them were corrected. And so he's suddenly not playing much at all, and you see a huge scale back. I just think the way they approached the offseason, while they, somewhat revamped the outfield, even if it wasn't the big splash with Collins and Lane Thomas, I don't think their plan is anything but him playing a majority of the season there. If it was not going to be that way, then I think we would have seen a bigger splash in the outfield market for them. I think they're clearly banking on Jack Caglione figuring this whole thing out.
I don't know that, here's the part going back to the playoffs and all that stuff. Is this a playoff team if Jack Caglione is just awful?
I don't think so.
Is there a way to, make good on the missing output in right field and just pitch your ass off from the bullpen and starting rotation and every other player on the field have a career year? And even if that's the case, look, you're just going to have another black hole in right field. That's what cost you the playoffs last season. Dead serious. Left and right field is what cost you the playoffs. You can make arguments for any other position on the field if you want, but why they missed was left and right field.
For sure. I guess to answer your question, it would be if you told me, he still struggled, but Lane Thomas bounced back from an injury and was the guy hitting 30,
rookie of the year,
30 plus home runs from Lane Thomas. And so you have that, and Isaac Collins is what he was in August, not what he was in September. And I keep going. There's scenarios, yes, I guess to answer your question, but it requires Lane Thomas having a massive bounce back. And I think you're right. It requires Jonathan India at least being what he was prior to last year on his baseball card. That if that happens, then in everything else that you mentioned, sure. But Caglione is such a huge piece. It's why everybody was excited about him a year ago, because he's a game changer if he's right.
Is it weird? Like, so and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not trying to put bad juju. Let's just say Vinny missed 2 weeks. I wouldn't put Cags at first.
You move Salvi to first and then have Carter Jensen catch. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'm not. Look, because I think, and I've seen this sentiment from the text line multiple times, this idea that he's being held back because he's out of position. I think there's a more than fair argument for that last year. He's played first base his entire career, including college and high school and everything else. He's been a first baseman. He played a little outfield in AAA as they knew he was getting close to the bigs because he was hitting so well, but not in AA. Still first baseman then, right? Or AA, they just started tinkering with right field. So, like, he does not have that much time in right field. And so to come into the big leagues, they know how to get you out. You're learning a new position. It's cavernous in right field at Kauffman. The
fences thing, that's a good point, though, with the fences. I mean, that also should help things a little bit.
It should, both from the hitting perspective and from the fielding perspective. And so, like, I can see why last year was just, you're in over your head, a lot got to you, and it was a lot to take in. So, like, if I just played first base, if I was Jack Caglione, maybe that softens the landing spot. He's had there's no mystery in it, I guess is what I would say. He's trained all offseason. He's going to train all in spring training. He is a right fielder. As of right now, that man's a right fielder. And so, and at least for the next couple of years, they gave Vinny 2 years of security in an effort to say, we're not going to change it. So for the next 2 seasons, he doesn't have a pathway to first base. And so he should learn the outfield, and that shouldn't be pressure-packed anymore. And so my hope is that this turns around pretty quick. I think he plays like 120 to 130 games. I think they give him more days off than the Bobby, Vinny, Salvi, like that grouping of players. I think they soften it a little there, Gold. He becomes the like platoon split guy that every Thursday when they're facing some tough lefty, oops, Cags isn't in the starting lineup. Maybe he shows up in the 8th inning if we're down a couple of runs in a pinch hitting scenario.
Unless he is, just absolutely crushing the baseball, then I would agree with you. And same with Carter Jensen. If he hits, he'll force his way into the everyday lineup. That's how the season will start. And I know there'll be frustration because, early on, Cody, in April, let's say Carter Jensen hits well. And it's just like the first week of the season. People are going to say, why are you taking him out of the lineup? But like, they've got a plan going in. They're not going to shift from their season-long plan a week into the season. So I know I bet you that's a conversation early on. If Carter Jensen is hitting well,
I think so.
Fans are going to say, well, why is he out of the lineup today? But the first week or so of the season, they're not going to just completely shift their entire thought process.
I want momentum and for a player to stay hot, but like, why give him a chance to have an 0 for 5, 4 strikeout day against some lefty? What? He's hot. Let him just sit for a day and move on. The only guys who are everyday bats in this order right now are Maikel Garcia, Bobby Wood Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez. Are those the only guys who maybe Carter Jensen enters that conversation, but he's not there yet because he has to part-time catch, part-time DH, part-time this. So he doesn't have an everyday role. Massey in India would seemingly be sharing some time in second, or Massey in left, or Thomas in left, or Isbell, or Thomas in center. Like, nobody else has an everyday at bat. So Cags would just be like every other person in the lineup, I guess. And look, we've talked about this before, but his season is easily the most fascinating. For the first few weeks, he'll be the player we watch the most. Other than, I don't know, I'm a little interested in India because they decided to pay him $8 million when they easily could have non-tendered him. So I don't really understand that move if he doesn't work out. That'd be an easy one to criticize.
No doubt. We'll know.
If Jonathan India stinks, it'll be easy to criticize.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're banking on, of course, last year being fluky. And that's the, if you're looking to be pessimistic about the 2026 Royals, there is a lot of hoping that the bad is just going to revert and be good. And there's a lot of hoping that what was great last year is still going to be great. And that is a little scary heading into the 2026 season. Based off of the offseason that they had. A lot of it is truly banking on things getting fixed just because they're going to get fixed.
Yeah.
It's that part kind of scares me a bit. If you're asking me, how does the 2026 season go terribly wrong? It's because you banked on the guys that had bad years just bouncing back and you weren't proactive about it.
Yeah. I'll say it in this only because it's cross sports, so it doesn't really apply. Kind of hate it because I just watched the Chiefs do that oh, they'll just be better. And you're like, I mean, maybe. But in the Chiefs' case, they did not get better, and they were worse. So it's like, these players will just be better. Now, in fairness, some of these are stalwarts. They're not asking the entire lineup to be better. They're just relying a huge chunk on India and Cags to be better. And for some guys not to be worse. Not to be worse, I can handle. That's an easier pill to swallow than to be better. To be better is asking a lot more, Golden. So, yeah, you and I will be paying a lot more attention to that.
All right, let's get back into college basketball. We'll talk Jerome Tang with Tim Fitzgerald at 11:10. We started the show discussing Tang getting fired. The other two locals, it was a losing weekend for all the locals on the college basketball front, unfortunately. Kansas went up to Iowa, I should say, and took on Iowa State. They lost 74-56. It was 8 for 6. Iowa State from the get-go just jumped out in front. Kansas did not play well at all. What was it, 13 first-half turnovers, or 13 turnovers at least in the first chunk of the game. Melvin Council Jr. was off. Darren Peterson, once again, minute-wise in the second half was a question mark, although the game was out of hand, so maybe that's what happened. They slip up after being on a hell of a run. Now they get Oklahoma State tomorrow at night down in Stillwater.
That's a nice reprieve before it gets bad again.
Missouri had a big win against Texas A&M, and then they lay an egg against Texas at home on Saturday. And Texas A&M, I hate to say it, it's not good for Missouri that they got a quad one against A&M. Well, now A&M has lost like 4 in a row. They lost to get over the weekend. So that win from a metric standpoint is not looking as strong anymore. So it was frustrating all the way around. Am I concerned about any of them more? I think for
Did it change your opinion on either of them?
Not for Kansas.
They just slept walk on
not
a
for
game.
Kansas, and this is not just me like, you're being a homer about no, they just lost to Iowa State after beating Arizona. Yeah. After beating Arizona, it was the perfect setup for Iowa State. Back at home, Iowa State had just lost to TCU earlier in the week. Kansas was coming off a big-time emotional win at home against number 1, previously unbeaten Arizona. Arizona, by the way, lost again. So Arizona has 2 losses. No, I think it was set up there. I mean, KU was a 7.5-point underdog going into the Iowa State game.
Yeah, it kept climbing, didn't it? It was like started 5.5.
I think it was a perfect storm. But yeah, I thought they'd be way more competitive.
I will say
than they were.
I'm assuming it was partially because and I watched it. Partially because they weren't in the game, but they did not they ramped down, and they probably feel this way. That team was probably feeling tired. It does not change my opinion a lot on Kansas in the sense that I still think that they're one of the better teams in the Big 12, and they will be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Playing at Hilton is never an easy thing to do. And not a single one of their players other than Melvin Council Jr. I thought even had a passably decent game. Flory played bad, Darren played bad, Tiller played bad. They all just had bad night. And so they have two. It unraveled quickly. The Missouri one is, can you find any kind of consistency?
That's what I was going to say about Missouri.
They are the least consistent team of the locals by far. Kansas State is consistently awful, but Missouri, they go from beating teams that I think are decent, 5-6 seeded tournament teams to just getting mollywopped.
The only
on
reason
Saturday.
they're still in metrics for bracketology is because of their first 2 wins in conference play. You beat Florida, then go on the road to beat Kentucky. The thing about Mizzou that I will say, as a Mizzou fan, might come out as a homer is, I actually put money on Texas to win Saturday because I felt going from Texas A&M on 2 days rest to play a Texas team that had a whole week off to prepare, who has better metrics than anything that Mizzou had. I thought it was a recipe for disaster. When you only play 7 guys consistently, it's a tough pill to swallow. So Mizzou is the one that's going to hurt the most because obviously they're on the bubble. But just like Kansas, Mizzou has 2 games this week where you bounce back and you're back right on the good side of the bubble.
Yeah, the only difference, so for Kansas, though, they just have 2 layup games this week. They play Oklahoma State and Cincinnati. Missouri has 2 ranked opponents coming up this week, right? They have Vandy at home tomorrow, then they go to Arkansas. Missouri has 3 games against ranked teams remaining. That's the good news for them. They have an opportunity once again to try to solidify themselves and be on the right side of the bubble. The A&M win got them on the right side of the bubble. Then you lose, A&M keeps losing. All of a sudden, the quad one thing doesn't look as good. So
no, you want them winning.
You need A&M to keep winning. So Missouri, once again, they're going to be flirting with it all year, but they have the ability to potentially solidify themselves this week. I mean, I don't think it'll happen. If you told me they split, that'd be a huge win, Vandy and Arkansas. If they somehow pulled 2 out of nowhere and won 2 ranked teams, then they'd be in great shape suddenly.
Yeah, they're just so inconsistent, wildly inconsistent.
I saw a thing yesterday Mizzou has the second hardest schedule remaining besides Arizona. I mean, you have 2 against Arkansas. You have Vandy this week. You have Tennessee. The only real easy game you could say is maybe at Oklahoma, but that's at Oklahoma. I mean, your 2 easy games are both on the road at Mississippi State and at Oklahoma. So they have a bunch of chances to find a way, but they also have a bunch of chances of just getting pushed all the way out of the bubble.
It's just, yeah, they're in a weird, I don't know. They're in a weird spot. And I've watched a lot of MU and KU this year, partially because college basketball feels like they had some more teams kind of in the mix. Last year's Kansas team was incredibly uninteresting. Just had to go watch Hunter Dickinson try to, like, I don't know.
Well, they weren't a likable team.
Look like he was 77 years old, and the other 2 teams didn't matter, so it felt like we were just stuck. I just can't figure out how is Missouri this inconsistent considering they have such good guard play? Like, typically that, to me, changes the ebbs and flows a little bit. Like, you should be able to, like, dictate the action, control yourself a little bit, understand how the offense operates. I just don't feel like you should have as big of ebbs and flows when you can play at the guard position. And like in Kansas's case, they just got warts one time after consistently playing great for 2 months. Missouri, they probably will win tomorrow. And then I'll be like, what the hell happened against Texas? Why did you get beat? Not just beat bad against another. Are they a French? Like Texas is probably considered. They got pretty much the same record.
I saw them
in the
at
SEC.
the 8-9 range. Their metrics are
They had
way
a better
better.
non-conference.
Right.
They played somebody in
Their
that.
net is
inside the bubble,
35,
but they're close.
So, yeah.
The non-conference was a killer for Mizzou.
And Mizzou's guard play, as you would say, Cody, their starting guard that they thought they had going into the year now is on the bench and comes in off the bench because
but
he's
they got good guard play.
You could say it. Their starting point guard's a sophomore who didn't get much action last year. Their best player is Mark Mitchell, who's the transfer from Duke, and Stone, who was a transfer, has been playing well. I as a Mizzou fan, if you would have told me they were sitting on the bubble before conference play after what they did in the non-con, I would have laughed at you because I didn't think there was a chance they would be near the NCAA
That
tournament.
non-con was a joke. It's kind of what, in the end, if they miss the tournament, that'll be the easiest thing.
Oh,
to
yeah,
point to.
totally.
You played a bunch of rummies,
And that's what's weird from a
just didn't-
coaching.
Didn't even try.
I would love like if Dennis Gates has been asked about like just the thought process. It's one thing if you're trying to build up your program, you have an easier non-conference, and you try to get some confidence and all that. But like with the roster that they had, there's got to be a balance. I mean, they went to the extreme of one of the easier non-conference schedules in the country for a Power 5 team, and then when they did play somebody like in Illinois or Kansas, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah, they did. But I don't know. That's why they don't look, but they have beat good teams. Like, again, they're Jekyll and Hyde. Will they show up against a good opponent? Who knows? Anybody's best guess. They can beat good opponents. I've seen them do it multiple times this year. But if they don't beat them, they get worked. Like, they don't just play some close back and forth game and come up just short. They lose by 20. Like, they're a very weird team.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll discuss a little bit NFL draft. We'll also have Tim Fitzgerald join us to talk Kansas State and Jerome Tang. But some sad news over the weekend, yesterday, I guess it would have been, Robert Duvall passing away at the age of 95. And I was texting with some buddies, and everybody's got their movie or whatever that comes to mind. We all know The Godfather. I think that's where everybody starts with Robert Duvall. But I don't know. I was going through. I forgot a couple of movies. Days of Thunder is always going to be. I don't know why. Like that's just one of my favorite movies anyway.
We've talked about that movie on this show before.
Yeah, Robert Duvall was in Days of Thunder. He was Harry, right? He was Harry. He was the I don't know what you call it, coach or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
What do you call? I don't know. I'm not the NASCAR guy. Anyway, he was his
the team leader.
Crew chief, geez, that's what it is. My
yeah,
goodness,
there's
gosh, that was embarrassing. Crew chief, thank you.
I don't watch a lot of
and obviously Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Days of Thunder. But Robert Duvall, do you have a favorite movie other than Godfather? I think that's the easy answer.
I mean, I think look, that's the truth. Like that one's going to show up pretty quick on that end. Days of Thunder is another movie that you and I agree is an excellent watch, and I kind of enjoy it. I don't know, like across the board.
People are saying Gone in 60 Seconds. I like that movie as well. He was in that.
There was one. Now I'm trying to remember. Gone in 60 Seconds obviously stands out. I want to remember the name of
it.
The
one my friends kept texting last night that they're like, and I had never seen it, and they're like, how have you not seen it? Was Open Range.
Okay.
Right.
I've seen that, but it's been a long time. The Natural always stands out because that's one of the movies that I probably watched the most as a kid because it was just another one of those movies that was on all the time as a kid, if that makes sense. Other than that, probably the two you named. For our age, those are probably the movies, aren't they? Like the ones that we were, I mean, I watched Apocalypse Now, but I only saw that a couple of times, right? So like it doesn't stand out as being the movie for me. It's probably those Days of Thunder, Gone in 60 Seconds. So it's like we're on TNT at any particular time my entire childhood.
That's probably what it is because those, Spike TV and TNT. Those movies were on that. Some people saying John Q, Secondhand Lions. I've never seen that.
It's a good like family. It's got Haley Joel Osment in it. I have seen it. My dad really liked it.
03. Okay.
It's fun.
It's a comedy. Okay.
It's a good movie. It's like a family comedy, but it's fun.
I'm looking at it. Huh. I don't know if I've definitely never seen that.
No? Didn't hit the IMDb page at some point, or didn't hit the streaming site for
Someone
you?
says, "How have you guys not seen Open Range?" I know. I haven't seen it.
Didn't see it. Is that the one?
The most popular
What's the
text?
one we should watch, I guess?
Well, the most popular text is Gone in 60 Seconds. Surprisingly enough, I'm actually shocked that that's the one. But again, I think it's the age thing. It's the demographic of if you depending on when you were born. Someone says Open Range, one of the best westerns ever.
You watch a lot of westerns?
No, I have not watched a lot of westerns. Open Range, 03. How have I not seen it though? Okay, I'm going to go back and watch. Where's it on? I bet you I can find it on. It says AMC Plus. I don't have that. There's got to be somewhere else I can. There's got to be some other place I can buy it.
Is that an actual streaming app?
That's what it says. I looked up. Where is that? 7.4 on 79% on Rotten Tomatoes. Open Range.
Not as good as I was expecting.
Kevin Costner, Robert Duvall, Annette Bening.
Not as good as I was expecting, in fairness. I'm looking through all the top ones. I never saw Four Christmases. He was in that. Did you ever see that?
Four Christmases? No.
Yeah.
I'm not the movie guy though, so this is a bad. Like I'm not my marking of what I've seen for this is not a good barometer here because I don't go to the movie theater all that often anyway.
Somebody says Open Range has got one of the best gunfight scenes you've ever seen.
Okay.
I will say I just watched the most recent episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Game of Thrones series. That's one of the most recent episode has one of the best fight scenes in the entire series, in any of Game of Thrones.
See, I should get into this.
For what it's worth.
You think I would like
Game of Thrones?
In any Game of Thrones iteration ever, it had one of the single best fight scenes, I would say, action-wise.
Should I be watching this? Because I loved Game of Thrones.
It's really good.
Is this better than the other spinoff?
It's better than the House of Dragon.
And what is this one called?
A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
And it's on HBO?
It's on HBO.
A Night of the Seven
There's
Kingdoms.
only 5 episodes in, so you can get in the
So I
weekly
can watch it
watch.
on Max or whatever they switch back to, HBO.
I think they're back. I don't know if they're back to.
Is it HBO Max?
I think they're back to
It's
HBO Max.
HBO Max. Who knows?
Yeah,
They've changed so many times, man. HBO Go, HBO Max.
That's
I
what
actually
it
went
is.
to the movies for the first time since COVID.
To see what? Wait, you hadn't gone in 5 years?
I had never been to a movie, no. It was so weird. But I went and saw, it came out Friday night. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on. Crime 101.
Crime 101.
My grandma was wanting to go see it. It was so funny. My grandma wanted to go see a movie. I said, what about this? She goes, sounds good to me. It's about a
thriller,
rated R, about a guy that is a
jewelry
robber.
Jewelry thief.
Yep.
Okay, I actually kind of like the plot here. Carefully planning robberies to avoid violence and DNA evidence while escaping via U.S. Route 101. He steals $3 million in genuine diamonds.
It was really good, so I would recommend it. But I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I've heard it's good, but I've just never got into it.
I know people were mad about the ending. To me, it's still an all-time show. An all-time show.
I'm telling you right now, it's better than House of the Dragon, in my opinion. The newest one.
Now, is it still on HBO Max, like the original Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to watch it.
Yeah, I've been told.
All right, up next, let's get into a little NFL draft. Matt Miller had something to say about some of the players in the first round, and then we'll get into Kansas State's firing of Jerome Tang and where they go from here with Tim Fitzgerald right here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 27th through March 1st at the Overland Park Convention Center. Grab front door bonus golf while it lasts. Enjoy the Vital Stretch Zone. Saturday's women's events and test big brands with Golf MD at the Golf Show February 27th through March 1st. All at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Genesis of Kansas City, Orange Whip, RMI Golf Carts, Arnold Palmer Spiked, Yingling Flight, Hereford House, WHB, Alabama Golf Trail, Edward Jones, and Tito's Vodka. Special tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
When the cold sets in across KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm, safe, and secure. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we deliver reliable solutions and unmatched care and professionalism. Whether it's a sudden breakdown or routine maintenance, AB May is here to help. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, we're committed to doing things the right way every time. Call AB May at 913-732-9993 or visit us at abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's
800-491-9914. Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're looking for more NFL draft coverage, go subscribe and follow the Character Concerns podcast with Bink and Chris on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. JT Noah filling in for Drew today. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 20 minutes or so. We might have to push it to the Chiefs Red half hour. We're going to have Tim Fitzgerald joining us in 10 minutes. So we'll talk a lot of K-State. Jerome Tang fired for cause. How did we get here? Next step for the program. A lot more to go with that. I'm sure this will not be the last day we talk about the fallout. If they truly are going to fight the buyout, remember the David Beatty KU thing, that lasted for years. I mean, that went on and was embarrassing for everybody involved. So hopefully that's not how this thing goes down. But Jerome Tang fired on Sunday evening. All right, so before we get to Fitz, let's talk some draft. Matt Miller over at ESPN was going through and gave a grade for every prospect, every single one. It's a good write-up if you haven't checked it out. And what stood out to all of us, knowing the Chiefs are picking ninth, and we talk every year that, hey, just because there's 32 first-round picks does not mean there are 32 first-round players in terms of the GM's eyes. So this year, this is just Matt Miller's opinion. Doesn't mean that that can't be off by a little bit. But he says there's 11 players. He gave 11 players a first-round grade. He's not saying that the guy drafted 20th is going to suck. That's not what this means either. It's just, all right, for once, you're guaranteeing yourself, unless you trade back, somebody that most people are going to think is a true first-round talent when you're picking 9th overall. This would be the argument to trading back, right? This would be the argument, unless you think you're going to stockpile another first-round pick.
Because you would think that there'd be somebody interested in trading up for this exact same reason. I need a first-round graded player. I would like to get them. Now, look, I would say that would make it more likely that you would want to take a first-round pick in next year's draft, and then you're playing the slow game, Gold, kind of like you've suggested, where 2026 can be good, but 2027 can be great if we put our eggs more into that basket. I'm going to list off the players real quick, just so you know, because a few of these guys have been listed as potentials for the Chiefs. Mendoza, first-round grade. Okay, he's not going to Chiefs, don't care. Jeremiah Love is mentioned multiple times. Mekhi Lemon, who I told you is my favorite wide receiver in the draft. Carnell Tate is also listed in there. One tight end. He lists Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say, Sadiq and some mocks and some of these other, and some of the evaluators' eyes has started to sink a little bit. Combine, if he just runs fast, jumps high, does everything, who the hell knows where he goes? Tight ends go that high all the time. Francis Mayagoa, I can't remember how he pronounces it. The offensive tackle is expected to go very early. And then David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, people you would expect, and then Sonny Styles, who's a linebacker out of Ohio State, and Caleb Downs.
So not Peter Woods, though. He's not included.
Not Peter Woods, and Caleb Downs. So, like, if it's a year in which, let's just say every GM is pretty close to this. These are roughly the 11 players they should do. Then at number 9, more than ever, if the only one left is Caleb Downs, let's say your list is only 9. If the only one left is Caleb Downs, or the only one left is Mekhi Lemon, because you didn't have Sadiq on your list, or you're not going to take a tight end. Should they be willing to take a player at a position that you and I are a little more hesitant about? If Jeremiah Love's the only guy left at 9, should we just be valuing getting a first-round talent there more than anything else in a year that there aren't that many first-round talents?
Again, I think if you want to go the true best player available route, you got to tell me what they did in free agency. If they went out and took care of running back in free agency and they signed a veteran wide receiver, well, then to me, you can take best player available. If that happens to be the safety, that happens to be the defensive lineman, sure. Right this second, though, as we sit on February 17th, like, to me, number one priority would be taking a defensive lineman there. But if you're telling me Bailey or Bain not available at that particular spot, I just don't want them to be in a position, Cody, where they're forced to take a particular position just to take it.
Agree.
And they reach for a guy that they don't even value.
But in a way, then that means they have to spend a little bit of money on defensive line in free agency, some money at running back in free agency. Wide receiver is the interesting one, because if they actually do believe in Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, they shouldn't have to spend, maybe Tyquan Thornton, they shouldn't have to spend a lot of money in free agency to think that they have some talent there,
right?
Assuming Kelsey's back, which at this point we're all leaning towards is going to be the case.
Although, did you see the craziness from Craig Carton over the weekend?
No, what happened?
So he's got his podcast or whatever it is he does now.
Craig Carton's a clown.
I don't disagree. He said
Let me hear what he
I don't have the audio, but basically he was suggesting Travis Kelce of the New York Giants. He said that, quote, "Rumor is that Travis Kelce wants to come back for another year. Kelce wants to play for the New York Giants. He and his wife can live in New York City. It's just a rumor. Do not sleep on the Giants signing Kelce this offseason." So again, he's not reporting it. He's doing his thing, but also, like, come on now. He's not reporting it. If he's coming back to play in the NFL, he's playing for the Chiefs. And he's sure as hell not. You think he's going to pick the Giants? Why? Because Matt Nagy's there? I don't think so.
Oh, man, my friend Matt Nagy's over there. So. Let me go over there.
Come on.
I guess I don't
play for the Giants. Give me a break.
This is my problem with guys like Carton, is that he just say things because he thinks it gets attention. He doesn't even believe this.
He'd be more likely to sign for Drew's Cincinnati Bengals, because at least it's Ohio.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
He's more likely to test a year of eligibility with the Bearcats at this point, sue the NCAA, than he is to go play for the Giants. We don't have to just say insane things. Who did you hear that from? Your buddy who was down at the bar drinking a few pints? Yeah, that idiot? No. Like,
Craig Carton's not in Boston. Why are you giving the Boston?
Yeah, right.
He's in New York.
Hey,
Cody's out here.
You're
mixing up your East Coast accents, man.
Idiots. No, it's like whichever version of this, it's like, you idiot. Like, don't just make stuff up. At what point has this ever been suggested? He's interested in the Giants. Yeah, okay, sure.
I'll send you the link, JT, if you want to roll for later in the show. I just read the quote, but if you want to roll in the audio, if you
I'll get that done for you.
Yeah, and we can maybe get.
I think it does say something about the draft though, because like this part is the same thing. Does only having 11? Let's just agree that it's like 10 or 11. If there's only 10 players, should the Chiefs stay at 9, or should they take the value for the teams who are going to see it the same way as them and say that the only way we're going to get a first round talent is we get their pick? Because there will be teams who view it that way. There'll be teams who are like, the only players worth drafting in the first 25 are the guys going 1 through 11. How do we get ourselves to 11? Now, that means the Chiefs have to think that the draft, that they can fill more positions over the long haul in this version than the other. I don't know, man. I part of me is, Gold, if like what you're saying, it's this pillar versus need. They have a lot of little needs everywhere. They're not a bad team, but they need help at safety. They need help at running back. They need help at wide receiver. They need help at multiple spots. So, like, I don't feel that they're desperate, but I also feel like Brett Veach needs a pillar. And if there's only 10 first-round picks and you're picking 9,
yeah, the 9th overall pick has to be somebody that hopefully, number one, you're planning on a second contract for, but as in he's a pillar and he goes with the next run that hopefully you go on, right? That we look back and hopefully 5 years from now, we're like, man, how did they go on another run, or how did they get back to a Super Bowl again? That's because they got Patrick Mahomes and they've got blank, whoever that is, plus maybe it's still Trent McDuffie. I don't know. We'll see if they continue to retain Trent McDuffie moving forward. But yeah, I mean, the draft, it's going to change here with the Combine, which is coming up in a few weeks. And you're going to see all of a sudden a huge shift in opinion on some guys.
Yeah.
And all the mock draft world.
What do we got, a week, you said? Is that
early March, isn't it? Or am I off? Or is it later this week?
I think it's
or later
February.
this month? I'm sorry. Combine, Indianapolis.
Combine dates February 23rd.
Okay, so we're next
through
week.
March 2nd.
Next week. Someone check on Bink.
Is he okay?
He's gonna be parked in front of NFL Network
You ever
watching.
been to a combine? Talking about arm length and height.
Not a combine. I've been to pro days. Like when
3 cone drills.
When I covered Boise State, the pro day was a big deal there. Like the year Leighton Vander Esch was a first round pick. There was a ton of that was a crazy one because he was.
Did you guys talk about that on the radio?
In Boise, we did.
You talk about like
in Boise we
how
did.
Leighton Vander Esch did in his pro day.
Boise State, that's everything there. We did a little NFL, but Boise State, yeah, it was a daily thing. And
I just
certainly
meant like the pro day. What are you talking about? Like he looked fast?
No,
who showed up?
but just when you're there, you talk to some scouts or you talk to some other people and try to get some knowledge, and you bring that to the show. Anyway, so we'll find out with the Combine coming up in a few weeks. All right.
Why did Cody do a Mark Wahlberg impression?
No, that's what you did. We were talking about.
I did the wrong accent. I'm sorry.
We were talking about Craig Carton, and he's
it.
based in New York, and Cody
we
started.
Do it later. I'll do my New York accent.
Cody was doing a Boston accent for someone that's in New York. This is why if you're going to do it, you got to be strong with it.
All the same.
You know. All right, let's talk some college basketball. We know the big story over the weekend involving Jerome Tang fired by Kansas State. That's one thing, and then to learn, of course, it was for cause. That's a whole different conversation. To cover this a little bit more, and someone that knows that athletic department very, very well, Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, kind enough to join us here on 96.5 The Fan. Tim, always good to have you on the show, man. Let me just start with the firing itself. I'm guessing you're not surprised, other than maybe it was the buyout number, but nobody's disputing whether or not he should still have a job. It's just now that we know it's for cause, it seems like it's gotten very weird.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm guessing we don't know the entire cause. That the Cincinnati post game was a big reason for it. I've never heard of a coach being fired for being too hostile towards his team.
Right.
But there are some things in that contract that seem to appear that the decision on what crosses the line or not is entirely up to the athletics director, which seems like a bad thing to sign from the Tang perspective. I've been really critical of this contract because it doesn't serve the interests of Kansas State University, but that seems to be a poison pill in there that might do that still. I don't quite fully grasp the timing and all that went down here. But I think there's some more stuff behind the scenes that have been in motion for a while that they've done a good job of keeping bottled up.
Without knowing those details, when you just look at it from the outside, it sure feels like, all right, $18 million. I think everybody understands there's no way, in my opinion at least, K-State's going to get off without paying a single cent to Jerome Tang, in my opinion. But is this just truly to eventually settle on a number? Is it worth the PR mess and potential baggage that gets aired for Kansas State based on the financial risk?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. But in this era of such tight resources, $9 million at your disposal for football NIL could make a huge difference. So, yeah, I mean, I see why they're fighting it. I think they feel like they've got some things that serve to their advantage, but I do agree there's no expectation of that number probably getting to zero. And I would guess that their hope is just to have it at the very least, but we'll see how this plays out because it sounds like Jerome Tang has retained very good attorneys who have done this before, and they're going to go to the wall. I just wonder what we're going to find when they get to the wall. Is there more to come out that could be very damaging to a coach's career? I guess that's the mystery K-State wants to keep here so that they have that in their back pocket if it exists.
I guess what's hard about this, though, is that Jerome Tang, he does not seem like the kind of candidate who's going to head coach again, right? I mean, he was a long-time assistant. He got his opportunity. It went south. So I would think that Jerome Tang is destined for a lifetime of more assistant work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine anyone hiring him at the rate that this program has fallen apart over the last 3 years. I mean, it can almost only get this way because of total incompetence or neglect. And I don't know how that reflects itself in the contracts, but I think K-State does want to fight this because they feel like the job wasn't performed, not because of wins and losses, but overall the duties of the head coach were not fully fulfilled.
When you look at, I guess that's what I would ask you about the program. Before we talk about who might be next for that program, what do you think happened? Like if in 2023, K-State fans were excited. He's taking the team into the tournament. You know, fans are jumping around. The whole program seems like it's riding a high. What do you think happened? How did the program fall apart so quickly?
They won the lottery. They were able to elevate Marquise Noel. And I want to remind people that Marquise Noel wasn't very good under the Bruce Weber coaching staff. That, yeah, Jerome Tang did bring something out in Marquise that they haven't had since. And you add in Keontae Johnson to that, and you had two really determined, dogged competitors that set the tone in the locker room, set the tone on the court, and everyone played hard. Plus, you had Naquan Tomlin. You had three guys that have seen time in the NBA on that team. And since then, you've had zero. So I just think we underappreciated how talented that team was and how focused they were because of the on-court leadership that apparently overcame coaching. It makes you wonder, going back to that Michigan State game, where there was the fake argument. Yeah. Was it fake, or was he really trying to get them to do something? And Noel's like, no, we're going to do this, and then we're going to dunk and win. We all thought season 2 was the outlier. No, season 1 was the outlier, and I think everyone got fooled, including Gene Taylor when he signed this extension that most fans, wanted done to retain Jerome Tang after year 2.
We're talking to Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. I'm glad you mentioned Gene Taylor's name. I was going to ask you, what's the feeling among K-State fans around him? I mean, this was his initial hire, and then, of course, the extension on top of it. And as you said, we don't know. Maybe we're going to find out a ton more information, and we'll say, hey, this wasn't on Gene Taylor as much as maybe it was. But I feel like the guy that hired Jerome Tang, the guy that gave the extension, I mean, he's got to wear some of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think fans are not real pleased with that either, that this contract was signed, because most everyone wanted Jerome Tang retained at that point, but also nobody really knew what was in the contract to retain him, and it wasn't advantageous to Kansas State. And this is something athletics departments have to do better. They have to get contracts that favor them a little more. They're letting agents push them around and get whatever they want for their clients. They're even, in some cases, letting the agents write the contracts. And ADs need to be tougher. They need to be tougher and have a professional negotiator on your staff that's going to go to the wall and knows how to get someone hired, but at a price that works for them.
Colin Klein seemed like the layup for the football program after the kind of, I thought, surprise retirement on the football end. So, like, great hire, seemed like a good fit. Who is that for Kansas State basketball that's realistic? Who do you think should be on the list of names?
Well, we've got a list of names. The problem is there is no Colin Klein. There is no what made Colin obvious was on top of being a really bright young mind in the profession, he was yours. He's one of you. I think they need to go find another bright young mind for basketball. I don't want them to restrict themselves to be just head coaching candidates because, let's be honest, guys, this game and how to construct a team is radically different than just 4 years ago when Jerome Tang came in to put together his first team. The whole game of college basketball shifted into a different direction, and how you assemble teams and how you play is beginning to follow more the NBA model of how to, increase your chances by shooting threes, which isn't a really enjoyable form of basketball at times, but it's effective. So I don't know who they'll get, but I think they need to replicate everything about the football hire with the exception of this guy won't be one of yours. It's going to be someone from the outside. That might mean you lose him in a short period of time, but so be it. Just go get the person that can win right now, and let's worry about everything else later.
What's the NIL resource, I guess, allocation like there? I guess without getting too nerdy with it, but we heard reports for the last year or so about Jerome Tang maybe like going outside the program to get some, to find a booster that would have a separate budget. Is that true? And do you think the resources will be the same for the next guy?
In the crazy world of NIL, that's not just true. That's kind of expected. Go out and find your own money in the NIL space. He had plenty. Some very generous donors, older donors that want basketball back to what they remember from their younger years, and they gave him what we believe might be the top NIL budget in the Big 12 to put together the worst team. And one of the problems that was facing Jerome Tang is we were told that spigot of money ended this season with everything going on, and maybe that Cincinnati game played a role in that, of donors saying enough, I can't do this anymore, and maybe that's why this all of a sudden broke this way. But that money's gone. Will it come back for a new coach? I don't know. Will it shift to football? I don't know. I always keep telling people this isn't Kansas State's money to decide where it goes. If a donor wants it to go to men's basketball, football, volleyball, track and field, it is their money to decide who gets the NIL benefit of it.
Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. Always appreciate you coming on the show, man. We'll see you in Kansas City for a hell of a Big 12 tournament. I understand maybe, I don't know if you'll be staying a few extra days or not. It might be that Tuesday 2:00 game or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of encouraging the Big 12 to just give the teams for the 15 and 16 seeds buys and let Utah and Kansas State play at 2 p.m. on that first day and really have a crappy game to kick it off.
Actually, just give them a trophy for just whoever wins that game, and then the team who'd play them gets a bye.
Yeah, you can give them like a gold-plated vacuum because they suck.
Thanks, Fitz.
They won that game.
There you go. That's Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com with us here.
It's shaping up to be an all-time Big 12.
Oh, I can't
tournament.
wait next month. Yeah.
Like, look at some of these battles we've had recently. Iowa State and Houston, Arizona and Kansas. Like, there's been so many great games. The Big 12 tournament's going to be awesome. That Tuesday slate, woof.
Right now, I think they'd be playing Tuesday at like 2:00 as a 16 seed.
You want to drive down after the show? Catch some second half K-State,
I'll be honest.
Utah?
I'm excited for the Big 12 tournament. I might pass on Tuesday, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I want to go see the 15, 16, and 13 seed teams or whatever it would be.
Yeah, me and my buds were talking about
tickets will be cheap for that day, I'll tell you that.
Oh, $5.
And if you've got kids and they've never gone to the Big 12 tournament, that's actually the perfect day to go. You can get in very cheap.
Yeah, me and my buds were thinking about going on that Thursday where all the nice big games will happen.
That day is going to be epic. I cannot wait. And and we were looking at like the standings and everything. Selfishly, obviously hoping that I can see KU or whatever. So I'm hoping that they're not playing at like the 11 a.m. game because we'll be on the air during the whole game if that's the case. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, this has an Olympic spin to it again. A week or so ago, it was about the acid being injected into the crotch of some of these athletes. This one is a classic story that we hear every 4 years about the Olympics. We just have new numbers to go with it.
Oh, new numbers.
So the host country traditionally provides, resources in the Olympic Village.
Okay,
all
makes sense.
sorts of resources made available to these athletes that, look, urges still happen just because you're competing in the Olympics. You got a bunch of adrenaline rush going, you're competing, you're stressed out, all of it. So this year the number was 10,000 condoms supplied to the Olympic Village, and they were all snatched up in 3 days.
So they were all used in 3 days.
No, but said more is said to be on the way.
10,000?
There's no set timetable for when that could happen. American skeleton athlete John Daly says it's unavoidable and that, quote, hooking up is going to happen when incredibly good-looking athletes with perfect bodies and spandex get together in one massive group.
That guy's being honest about it.
He's not wrong.
How many Olympians are in the Olympic Village?
Oh, you're trying to do the math on how many condoms. Well, remember, you gotta.
I was just curious. 1,500 athletes. Total athletes. I mean, some of them are.
Well, there's also male, female. I mean, like, there's.
Yeah, I don't know the ratios here.
Yeah.
I don't know the ratio.
Well, just think about the one guy that
1,500 athletes.
Just think about the one guy that won a medal and then announced, like, "Hey, I cheated on my." So I wonder if he was cheating more even.
Oh, he's single now.
Yeah,
oh, that's
I would
true.
recommend that if you wanted to get her back, maybe not partaking in the 10,000 free condoms available at the. They got sent that quick.
10,000 of them.
I mean, just in case, I guess. And that's something you just pack if, Olympic Village is
That's
just
a great
known.
Question.
Like, if you just know Olympic Village is...
Just pack your own.
This guy said.
Pack your own.
People in spandex and everyone's super attractive and fit, and we're just going to have sex with each other. Well, then, yeah, bring some. Right? I mean, prepare accordingly. I'm not saying you can't take the free ones, but, prepare accordingly. That's all.
No, it's a great point. It's a great point, Cody. Wouldn't you? You would just have your own, I would think. But maybe you didn't bring enough.
Gotta go to Costco, I guess. You gotta go to
you want to stay in the Olympic Village.
Like when,
or maybe you didn't plan on it. Maybe you weren't planning on having sex, but you know what? It happened. You had condoms nearby.
I think if you were single and going to the Olympic Village, you got to at least consider it a possibility.
For sure.
It's got to be on the possibility list.
Someone says it's more to do with them having the Olympic logo on them. All right, so look, I don't want to.
That's the souvenir you want to keep? Of all the things you can keep?
Yeah, I don't know who's supplying, what company is supplying the condoms for the Olympics.
Are they allowed to put the logo on it?
I don't know if that person's joking or not.
Do you think?
Does Trojan have Olympic branded condoms just for this?
There's no way. As careful as the Olympic Committee is with their IP, do they let you print it on a condom?
Well, maybe Trojan's paying a lot of money, or whoever the company is that they chose. That's another reason to bring your own. You don't know what they're giving you. You don't know what you're getting.
Man, they just say they're being sold online. According to this article, they're being sold for $125.
No way.
The logo is on it.
Hold on.
The logo's on it.
Olympic. I'm on eBay. Olympic condoms.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, you can buy them. You can buy one online, Gold.
There it is. No, that's a pin. That's not the actual. Oh, this says fair play, safe play, consent first. Olympics.
Oh my.
Gold can buy this for $125 and really impress the ladies.
I just can't wait now for your guys' little ads on your social medias to now be about condoms.
Wow.
I'm
going to get an Instagram ad for a Trojan.
Yep,
now.
I will say, I would start a GoFundMe to try to get you $100,000 if you bought one of these condoms. And then the next time, you happen to be in an intimate moment where you might need it. You said going for gold with an Olympic condom. Dear God.
Going for gold. I mean,
honey, I'm going for gold with you.
I would pay any amount of money for that to happen in real life, and Gold to have to describe that experience on the air.
There's no way I would ever say that. There's no way I would ever say that.
There's no amount of money?
Oh.
I mean, I don't have it, but there's an amount of money. There's $100,000. There's an amount of money you do it for.
You want me in the middle of having sex to say I'm going.
And pull out that Olympic condom. In addition to it. It's the whole story.
Hey, Dad, I went for gold last night. How'd you
do? Be worth every cent. Don't buy a $125 online condom.
Hell no. No.
That's going to be not my recommendation.
That is the trash of the day. 10,000 of them at the Olympic Village. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. One stat that stands out and about the teams that made the postseason, and we'll also discuss Tyreek Hill, who is officially a free agent, and once again, the likelihood that he comes back to Kansas City.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I know it's been nice lately, but this is fall spring, which means you'll be working outside soon enough in those harsh conditions. And, that and the new year gold, you're often looking about your new career because we spent some time over at Centric getting to know some previous graduates, and what moved them to those new careers opened my eyes to those careers in IT.
Yeah, and learning the skills is only part of the journey over at Centric. They're going to turn the skills that you have into a career where people need you the most or where people need the most support. Centric is exactly what you need if you're looking for those specific skills. And they have a whole career service team that's going to coach you through resume building, interview preparation, and guidance, along with landing a real entry-level IT job with local employers.
Make that first step. Schedule a short career pathway call with our buddy Russ. He'll help you decide what is the right fit and get you started there. That's Centric, CENTRIQ.com.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there. It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
If you love seafood, pull up anchor and set sail for Hy-Vee's annual fish and seafood sale. Get a whale of a deal on all your favorites for Lent. Salmon, tuna, trout, and catfish. Seafood lovers shrimp, crab legs, and lobster mac and cheese. Eating seafood twice a week has major health benefits. Count on Hy-Vee to sell only the freshest seafood backed by the Responsible Choice Guarantee. All hands on deck for the annual seafood sale going on now at Hy-Vee.
One thing I love doing is going to Hy-Vee. I love going up and down the aisles and finding everything I need. But sometimes we're just very busy. With 2 girls in high school right now, we are swamped. So we use Hy-Vee's aisles online. I go to the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. I choose the store I want, I select my items, and then Hy-Vee does all the shopping for me. All I have to do is pick it up or, better yet, have it delivered to my home. So I'm going to save time and I'm going to save money. What could be better? Only at Hy-Vee. 40,000 people. That's not a crowd. It's a small city. It's also the number of people choosing pain relief without surgery. 40,000 people who said, stop, before you replace my knee or my hip. Before I put my life on hold, there has to be another way. And they found it at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular level treatments that revitalize joint tissue naturally. Patients who thought surgery was the only answer are getting their lives back thanks to QC Kinetics advanced regenerative treatments. Surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics uses safe, natural treatments to activate your body's healing power with zero downtime. Get started now to ease inflammation and slow the progression of osteoarthritis. Call them today because 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, do your research and call my friends at QC Kinetics. The consultation's free. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, JT Noah filling in for Drew today. We'll get back into Tyreek Hill, who is a unrestricted free agent, and what that means moving forward, including some audio from an NFL doctor, a former NFL doctor, saying he may not even be available to begin the season. If so, what does that mean for the timeline, even for Tyreek Hill to get signed by somebody? Could he pass a physical right now? So we'll do that in just a little bit. But Cody, you want to talk a little more about something I brought up?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago about, look, the three of the four final quarterbacks that were in the NFL postseason all went under center more than just about anybody there. At least they had more touchdowns. Yeah, Matthew Stafford had. Sam Darnold was in the mix. I don't think it was a coincidence. But you're thinking of injury and recovery. Does that play a role in all this?
Well, now we have the drop back numbers. And a big concern of mine over this, and I've had some people refute it, and I've had some people agree, because this is a difficult thing that can only really be answered by Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid and their comfort level. So you had mentioned touchdowns under center. Well, now we have the just total number of dropbacks under center and which of those teams made the playoffs. And this goes back to this idea that the Chiefs missed the shift in the league for the first time under Andy Reid. The league changed, and it turned to under center with good running backs, and the Chiefs never adjusted. The Rams, number 1 in the league, Bears, Seahawks, these are all playoff teams. Hell, matter of fact, the only teams in the bottom 15 that made the playoffs that did not run under center snaps were the Panthers and the Eagles, who ran quite a few. The Chiefs finished second to last in the entire league in under center dropbacks, as in Patrick Mahomes takes the ball under center and actually tries to throw it. So, like, they're already far down the list. But tell me, and this is, again, what I want to understand about this, how can they fix that if he can't take dropback snaps? Can Patrick Mahomes just...
Who's saying he can't do that?
Because of the injury. How can he take the same number of dropbacks as he normally would? Like, I understand he can do that more than he can run.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's been in the league long. Like, we're acting like he's never gone under center in his life. Like,
no, but he was a shotgun quarterback in college.
Right.
He's been a shotgun quarterback in the pros. He was a shotgun quarterback in the league. He's not comfortable throwing under center, or they're not comfortable running their offense under center.
That's just Andy Reid's scheme.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Andy or him or both or a combination. Because last year, when they went under center, they were not good, even when he did throw. And by the way, it was only 45 times. They have no sense of it. But how can they get a sense of it while he's hurt and they don't have the ability to practice or rep it? Like, I guess, like, why would it change if they can't rep it? You think Patrick Mahomes can just learn it?
Yes.
Like, I understand like that part, but like,
I do actually.
I think it's harder. I think it's way harder if you're not like repping that out and practicing it.
I also think his timeline, if we all believe that if he's not ready week 1, okay, but none of us think he's waiting till November to play, then they're going to have all of training camp. Like, Patrick Mahomes is if we all, and people tell me I'm wrong all the time for even speculating that he may not play week 1. Everybody's like convinced he's playing week 1. If he does play week 1, or even if it's week 4, then if you think he's ready by the end of September, then he's at training camp taking snaps. Like, the only way the timeline makes sense, like, we can't have it both ways.
But if we all are doing it, if they're going to really try to play under center, he should be practicing that now.
I guess, right?
I mean,
we'd have to have a former quarterback on the show to
fully divulge it.
Because I don't know, Cody. I don't know. My assumption is just that, okay, scheme-wise and any change in the offense, he's going to be locked in on the iPad scheme and all that's not going to be a problem. If you're saying physically taking the reps, I'm just saying if he's going to play in September, he's going to have plenty of time.
You think
then
camp is enough?
That's all.
Look, they definitely can get some if he's ready by week 1, in fairness. But it's really frustrating to see it because you just realize that Andy Reid didn't adjust when the rest of the league did. And look, they were having success up until this year, so the same rule applies. Hard to adjust when you're just going to the Super Bowl every year and making do, and Patrick Mahomes is saving your ass. And that's what I think this is. The last couple of years are going to end up making me think, unless something changes significantly, or if they change significantly and it works, is that what the true story of the last 3 years of the Chiefs run was? Patrick Mahomes saved you till he couldn't. That you should have been adjusting this whole time. And the only reason you got away with it was because Patrick Mahomes is awesome, and you got to the postseason, and when push came to shove, he'd still make the couple of plays you desperately needed, even though you were the worst team. Because they should have been working on being under center and having an elite running game years ago, the second that the league shifted to 2 high safety look and soft shell. But this is also, and this is where I admit, this is the really fine line of football. You and I mentioned this as it related to defense a couple of weeks ago. Is it going to last? Our team's going to now, are we back, right? How long until they stop running the 2 high? How long until they take away these running backs that have all gotten good? And are you going to be late again? Or do you just adjust ahead of the curve this time and say, no, we're just going to have 4 elite, 3 great wide receivers and push you downfield and, try to and hope that the league isn't shifting yet.
I just don't, you would agree too. They don't have 3 elite wide receivers or great wide receivers,
No, I mean, they took 1 at 9.
If Rice is fully available this year, I think Rashee Rice can have a career type season. I still think there's something there from Worthy, but the personnel, to me is not going to still be at the level offensively to where they can just go against every single trend possible and say we're going to do it our own way and we know better. That arrogance is going to cause problems if that's what they do. And it did. Yep.
Because again, those stats are the stats. They were the second least under center team from a passing game perspective than anyone in the NFL. And of the 14 playoff teams, 12 of them rated in the top 16 of teams who went under center and threw it. So not hard to, and I guess halfway through the season, do you not realize this? Or can you, and this is why I feel like the reps might be important. So they have the same stats we do. 6, 7, 8 games into the season, this trend was already emerging, and they knew about this trend, I'm confident. So they already knew it was going this way, and they made no adjustment to try to go under center or to make those adjustments, which is why, to me, it's like, well, we can't make that adjustment because we need reps and practice. And you might be right. If he's ready for training camp, maybe that is just enough time. I think it's harder this year than in a normal offseason to rep out that type of throwing stuff. And not that I think Creed doesn't know how to hand him the ball out of center. I don't think Mahomes is comfortable or he likes less throwing under those conditions, is my assumption, I guess.
He may not like it as much, but, I think
it doesn't feel natural or something.
Can he do it? And does he not have enough? I don't buy that this offseason he's not going to have enough time to change the scheme. And the whole scheme's not changing. We know that. It's still Andy Reid's offense and all that. A lot of the things that would make under center more effective and make you more comfortable is if you have a running game, though, that you believe in. And that goes back to the overarching theme of Eric Bieniemy and, being able to go through with, signing a legitimate running back, hopefully, this offseason.
Yeah. Hey, I know no Camp Pat, none of that, right?
Yeah.
Is there a backup quarterback camp? They sign a backup quarterback. Do they get to go down there so Mahomes can, tell him which route to run while the backup quarterback throws it, so at least they can, meet, chat?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing there's no Camp Pat, right?
I think you got to get
or do
together,
you think
right?
They still just hang out and they
I
just
think
go
you get
over.
A quarterback to throw them the routes that they're going to have to learn, and you can talk them through it a little bit.
Jake Haener can do that.
Jake Haener can do that?
Or Gardner Minshew if they bring him back. He's recovering, though, from an injury as well, although it looks like he'll be ready plenty of time.
It sounds like he'll be ready kind of whenever. It made it sound like he'll be ready for the first.
Camp Pat and truly Minshew Mania. That's what they'll call the weekend. It'll just be the Minshew Mania weekend down in, I don't know, where's Minshew live? It won't be in Texas, although you're saying they should still do it at Mahomes'
Yeah, his estate.
His estate.
He's rich enough. It's definitely an estate. It's not a house.
Fair. I don't know what his situation is down in Texas. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it's nice.
Oh, yeah?
Where do you think Gardner Minshew lives? I feel like it must be like a mountain in North Carolina.
I feel like Montana.
I'm going to say Wyoming.
Those are we're all giving very similar vibes. Very similar vibes. Let's see. Where is he living?
Native of Mississippi, so yeah, Mississippi's his home base.
When
he trains in Florida. He trains in Florida.
Okay, need some more warm.
I remember when he was with the Jags, he lived in his van for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, he went on that RV tour thing.
He had that converted bus or the RV or whatever it was. Yeah.
Now, does Tyreek Hill change any of this for you? Because he's now officially a free agent. Because he's a vet, he could sign if somebody could pass a physical. He could sign today if he wanted to with somebody. And naturally, the Chiefs are the offshore favorites. And 3 weeks ago, we were discussing Tyreek Hill because everybody kind of knew he was going to get cut. So now he is cut. Let's talk about it again. I think, and I'll play you this audio from former NFL team doctor about the availability. I think it is better for the Chiefs if you told me actually, Cody, he's not available beginning of the year and nobody's signing him and it's like the Odell Beckham Jr. thing. And you wait till the middle of the season and see if you want to implement him at that point in time. This is a serious knee injury. I don't know what kind of player he's going to be when he comes back. And if he's not the same player, is he worth the potential headache? And someone pointed out correctly on the text line earlier, hey, he's not been suspended, so I don't want to make it seem like this guy's out here not being available for games. But we all know there's always something that comes up around Tyreek Hill. There just is. We know the Kansas City stuff. We know in Miami with multiple incidents that occurred down there, just bizarre stuff. I don't know what it is.
He's in the news a lot.
Yeah. And, frankly, for our job from a content perspective and what he says at the podium and stuff, trust me, that part of it's entertaining. Very much so. But at this stage of his career with this devastating knee injury, is he worth the headache? And here's what David Chow had to say about Tyreek Hill's injury.
I'd love to see Tyreek Hill continue to play. His injury is significant, though. His early season injury was a knee dislocation. This was by video, an immediate worry for nerve damage, peroneal nerve palsy. He appeared to have the nerve palsy when he was seen walking after his initial surgery. He's said to need another surgery per his own post, and he's been cut by the Dolphins, likely with a failed physical designation, although that hasn't been specified yet. He won't be able to sign with another team until he can pass another physical, and so it remains to be seen when that might happen. He's 31, I believe, and any significant knee injury, much less a knee dislocation, is in the career-threatening category for the type of player that he is. I certainly hope it's not career-ending. I want to see him back Where he lands will be a different story, and it seems more likely that would be closer to later this season or next season than right now.
So that's David Chow. That time I actually think that is the better scenario, truly, if you're looking at bringing him back in. As you just tell me,
dirt cheap.
Yeah, the money's not going to be much at that point in time. You would still, in my opinion, have the leg up on the competition of bringing him back, because I do think he wants back in Kansas City. And then that way you're not halting or hurting the growth of Xavier Worthy in the meantime. And all of a sudden you just need a boost in October or November from the offense, Cody. That's what I'd be more interested in than bringing him in now.
But if it's not that dream scenario, I'm not interested. Like, I am interested in getting younger and winning for the next decade. Like, everything I'm doing right now, if I'm the Chiefs, is winning for the next decade. Not winning now. Winning now is not the problem. It is, how do I get the most possible Super Bowls during the Patrick Mahomes era? And that's not bringing back a 32-year-old knee bent the wrong way. Like, it's not, that doesn't typically get the job done. Hell, I'm more interested in Bradley Chubb, who they cut yesterday. He's a better fit than Tyreek Hill is at this point. He's a double-digit sack guy sometime in the last couple of years. He got cut for cap reasons, all the same.
30 this summer, I think.
Sure, but I might be looking for a stopgap at defensive end. For the same reason, even if you take one at number 9, you and I have discussed, those guys don't just come into the league and immediately are 10 to 14 sack guys. They come into the league and they're 6 sack guys, and then the following year they're 9 sack guys, and then the following year they're 11 sack guys. By the time you get them as a second contract, then the numbers are consistent and big, and Ruben Bain or Bailey or whoever, they might be able to target a 9. It takes a few years. So in the meantime, I'd be more interested in giving Chubb the money than I would be Tyreek Hill.
He'll have way more suitors, and you don't have the advantage in that. But I look, if we're going to play in the veteran pass rusher market, I think Chubb's a name to keep an eye on. I know people bring up Jalen Phillips as well, also a former Miami Dolphin.
Does it feel like an unusually, and I haven't looked that hard, does it feel like an unusually deep free agent year?
Oh, see, I don't think it's a good one.
Oh, you don't?
At defensive line we're talking about? No.
Oh, I just meant overall.
Oh, I don't know.
Tons of running backs.
Yeah. Well, for running back, it's a great year to go sign a free agent running back.
Hendrickson, Chubb, Phillips. I mean, that's not like for a free agent class.
I don't know if it's.
Now, of course, some of that is like, Pickens is technically free agent right now, but won't be.
Yeah, he'll never actually hit the open market.
Boye Mafe. I mean, I think there's some talent out there.
I think on the defensive line, it's a pretty weak one.
It's not
because top pass rushers don't become free agents. They just don't.
But I think for like a given free agent year, it's better than normal. Bradley Chubb was a 10 sack guy, 8.5 sack guy last year.
I'd have to look wide receiver free agents last year compared to the ones this year. I mean, this year is better at wide receiver because Alec Pierce is your top name.
Mike
Romeo
Evans,
Dobbs,
Tyreek Hill, Dobbs. I mean, there's some names. Look, and again, we're pointing out the flaws with Tyreek Hill, but there are ways in which it goes very well. And I'm with you. I think one of the biggest problems with it would be what it says about Xavier Worthy, a guy you just spent a first-round pick on 2 years ago. It would tell me that you don't think it's going to happen.
Or what's Hill's role? Because is he signing to know that he's like the number 3 or 4 option in the offense, or you signing him and he's right away your number 2 option in the offense? And as you said, that's just a stopgap thing. Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah, it is.
That's why the midseason thing actually makes a ton of sense. If that report is true that, like, hey, no, he may not be able to pass a physical right now. We don't know if that's true or not. That's just speculation from the doctor. I'm also just kind of, I usually am not a big fan of bringing back past players. I know the Chiefs have, and they work with Kareem Hunt, in fairness.
They love it.
And nobody probably thought Kareem Hunt was ever coming back, and he did, and he was impactful, to say the least. Helped him get to a Super Bowl last year, and this year he was great in short yardage and all that. I'm just kind of done. Like, do I want to get back into the Tyreek Hill game? And I'm like, not really.
Not particularly. We mentioned pick number 9. Do we? I think we're going to do these on Tuesdays and Fridays. Do we, JT, have a mock draft sounder? Do you have your description ready for anybody it could be? You got the
I've got them ready, depending on who we got here.
Let me get the music out.
Let's get the sounder. Let's hear it so it can feel right. Okay, so that makes it feel right, JT. Now we know. Do we start the mock draft sounder when you were an intern?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know when we started.
I can't remember.
It's been a couple
you
years.
were one of 2 only interns in this show's history.
He was.
We've asked for new interns. They said, you guys are too good. Can't make the other ones look bad.
That's right.
Have not given us one since, just you and Q, who's next door right now,
both
working
are
over at
employed by the
KMBZ.
company.
Still employed by the company. We chose well. We didn't choose well. Somebody chose, and then we just.
That's right.
Thanks, Spec. Thank you, Spec.
There was a legal thing. Like at first, we wanted to make it like an interview process that included us, and they said no. They were worried about the equal opportunity or some of the questions we might ask.
Well, I also want to thank your previous producer. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. I know he's your best friend. Good friend got married.
Nick Schwartz?
Nick, he left, and he left the door open for me and Q to take over right away.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys were thrown into the fire immediately.
My second day here at the station, didn't know anything. They're like, "Hey, can you run the board?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to run it if you're going to give me the opportunity, sure." And so
that was crazy.
There was a little couple miscues fired, but we got through the day. It was great.
Out. So all right, whose mock draft is this?
Oh, Daniel Jeremiah's. Yeah.
Who does he have? I thought you were going to tell us.
So I am. So here we go. First off, obviously you know who he's got. He's got Fernando Mendoza.
Okay, yeah, sure.
David Bailey at 2 though. So Bailey
at 2?
Bailey has gone up to 2.
Oh, that's your guy.
Okay.
Then he has Francis. I am going to butcher the name.
The offensive tackle.
The offensive tackle junior going to Arizona. He's got Bain going 4 to the Tennessee Titans.
5 close to the Chiefs pick.
5 Carnell Tate to the Giants. So Tate with
Neighbors like it.
Neighbors, yep. Browns go with the Utah offensive tackle Spencer Fano. Washington goes with Arvell Reese, the linebacker from Ohio State.
Okay.
Lemon. So big guy Bink likes the Lemon kid from USC goes to
Lemon.
The Saints, and Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs at 9.
Love again?
Yeah,
He has Downs going to. He got Downs going to Cincinnati, which I think Drew would be happy with there.
Said it so many times already, and it's only February. You know my stance on Jeremiah Love. You guys know it's not about the player; it's just about the value of signing one free agency.
Yeah.
This is not an anti Jeremiah Love thinking he's going to be a bust, but we've said it 100 times already. I feel like he has to be an immediate top 3, top 5 back in football for you to draft him at 9. And hopefully by the time free agency is halfway done, it's not even a question about 9 being Love because the Chiefs have already signed a free agent or 2.
It's the win now running back, not the let's stretch this thing out running back. It's just saying like, nope, we're going back to the Super Bowl next year. We're not messing around, which you and I don't think is the best long-term plan for how they say. Can I mention something? I'm looking at the mock draft now. Did they mention a pick number 20, Gold? At pick 20, the Dallas Cowboys select Akeem Messidor. Not a huge deal. Okay. It's an edge player out of Miami. But in his description, and I think Daniel Jeremiah typically puts these little notes in here when he hears something about maybe something somebody wants, which is, but he was dominant during his run in Miami's college football. Then again, if the Chiefs would take this pick in a trade for Trent McDuffie, entering the final year of his rookie deal, the Cowboys would solve their secondary issue in the blink of an eye. Why bringing that up? Why bringing that up, Daniel Jeremiah?
Because Trent McDuffie is.
Would you take pick 20?
Getting traded is a possibility for Trent McDuffie.
I would take 20 for McDuffie.
I need something else as well.
Like a 4th,
I'm not just
5th?
doing a first. Yeah, I need something else. I don't know if it's realistic at a 3rd or whatever, but I need something. I'm not just trading him straight up for a first round pick. I'm not.
Next year's
I'm
3rd?
not doing that.
Next year's 2nd?
I just need another pick to go with it if I was going to do a trade like that. Because once you do that trade, then here's a weird scenario. Have you already, if this was a draft night trade, have you already let Jalen Watson walk, or did you re-sign Jalen Watson? If you tell me they've re-signed Jalen Watson, then the likelihood of that trade goes up quite a bit.
I think so. Free agent's going to tell us a little bit about their draft.
See, I think they could do this on draft night because they would take Caleb Downs at 9.
Yeah, but he's not. He would help your secondary. But I'm saying is, if you had already let Watson walk by the time you get to draft night, you draft Downs at 9. Okay, safety's taken care of for 5+ years. But who's your corner? Watson's already gone. So now maybe they would have signed someone else, in fairness, but then you're just looking at Fulton and Noel Williams. You're going to have to draft a corner again.
I will say, in this hypothetical mock, there's not a defensive lineman I want at 9. Like, if it's not one of those 3, I'd rather have Caleb Downs than the next defensive lineman on the list. And I like guys like Peter Woods and some others, and but I'd rather have Caleb Downs than any of the other defensive linemen if Reese, Bain, and Bailey all go 2, 3, 5 or whatever they have.
Yeah, and someone was asking me, what about Pickens for McDuffie? I wouldn't, because of the contract that Pickens is going to require. That, like, for a wide receiver that still has some problems.
If you're going to pay someone a bunch of money, just pay it to McDuffie.
I'd pay McDuffie. You're going to trade McDuffie just to go pay a wide receiver instead of a corner. I'm good on that.
They could franchise tag Watson. I could see them doing that to trade McDuffie.
Isn't the franchise tag for a corner
$20+ million? I don't believe they'll do that.
We'll talk franchise tag later.
He's not that kind of corner. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I disagree. I mean,
steep.
for me, look, I'm not saying you're like 100% wrong. I don't think that's realistic for them.
I also could see
Watson.
them if those defensive linemen go, they might just trade back out of 9 and grab some more picks.
They could. It'd be disappointing, but they definitely could. So much of this will be clear, guys, once we know free agency. It's so tough on,
I know.
middle of February.
I can't believe we already got a 2.0 mock draft.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
It really is kind of crazy. All right, up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending, talk a little bit more about Jack Caglione and how much he's playing in right field. Plus, there's more controversy at the Olympics.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
FanDuel just handed you the tool that makes every college hoops parlay worth more, the Boost Builder. Here's the deal. You get a Boost Builder to use on any college basketball parlay with 2 legs or more. Then you start building out your combo. You add 1 leg, add another, because every leg you add increases your boost all the way up to 105%. You decide how far you want to take your college basketball parlays. You just open up the FanDuel app. Then you're going to choose your college hoops market, apply the Boost Builder token, and watch the percentages climb with every pick that you lock in. You head to FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid of Rob Seid Ford. Fresh off a record-breaking year and a successful run at Ford's 2025 Top Volume Award. Rob, how did you do it?
Kevin, it's simple. We pulled out all the stops on price, on trade values, on inventory, and made sure our customers got an experience they couldn't find anywhere else.
Well, the race isn't over. 2026 is here, and you're back in the chase again.
That's right, and we're going even harder this year. More inventory, more aggressive trade-in values, and a buying experience other dealers just can't match.
Well, you're not just talking, you've got the receipts. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in Kansas City by KC Magazine.
The recognition matters, but what actually matters is how you feel when you call or visit Rob Seid Ford.
Inventory, value, transparency, and no pressure. That's why people keep coming back.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit us online at robsight.com.
Rob Seid Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Ah,
The most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file. We guarantee 100% accuracy and your maximum refund. Those are some good numbers. And you can trust me, because I'm a talking calculator. Did I mention Tax Slayer even has support from real US-based humans if you have any questions along the way? Beat the rush and start for free today. Tax Slayer. File fearlessly.
When it's time to replace your appliances, Lowe's has you covered. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. And members get more like free delivery, haul-away, basic installation and parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select major appliances. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowes.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, the MLB Players Association Executive Director Tony Clark is resigning, according to multiple reports. This comes while they're about to have a big fight because the MLB labor agreement expires in December. The league, we all know, could face and probably will a lockout if both sides do not agree. And this comes on the heels of Clark's investigation, or part of an investigation that he is with because of the Eastern District of New York looking at alleged financial improprieties at the union. So he's got some much bigger problems to worry about in his future. And he steps down, but it came as a surprise to players. They were supposed to have their first Players Association meeting today.
Canceled it really quick.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
When the person in charge is no longer there. Look, he hasn't done a very good job, in my opinion, anyway, Tony Clark. So maybe better in the long run.
He
but
allegedly
also,
was messing around with the numbers.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, allegedly is not good. When they start alleging it, typically already feels like they got a little juice heading your way. So we'll see. But yeah, bad timing, obviously, for Major League Baseball, as they have something very significant on the horizon for their league. Next up on What's Trending, the window to designate franchise and transition players opens today. The Seahawks are said to be unlikely to franchise tag Kenneth Walker. I think that's because they'll get a long-term deal with him. But the Breece Hall is expected to be franchise tagged by the New York Jets. That, according to multiple sources earlier today. We'll see as those other guys come in there. We kind of assume Pickens, but there hasn't been a ton of reporting on it yet. But Breece Hall, that's one of the Chiefs' possible targets. You know, like him getting franchised. I don't want to trade for Breece Hall. There's other free agent running backs available.
In Major League Baseball, in the American League Central, big news just coming out in the last half hour or so. The Minnesota Twins, who already looked like they were going to maybe have a disastrous type of 2026, got a lot tougher. Their starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez, expected to miss the entire season due to significant tearing of his UCL. He left his workout early on Monday. MRI confirmed the tear, according to their general manager. They have not officially ruled him out for the season. You know, it's the second opinion, but it's obviously not good and probably going to keep him out for the season. A big blow to a Twins team that lost 92 games a year ago, and they traded away. Remember, they traded away a bunch of pieces at the trade deadline.
They did.
So big-time blow to a Twins team that already was probably going to be competing for last place in the Central with the White Sox, and looks like that's
just got hurt.
More likely than ever. Yeah.
Just got hurt. Next up on What Trending, according to reports, it is, quote, inevitable that Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson will request a trade from the Colts this offseason as they plan to continue, obviously, moving forward with Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback, assuming he can return from a torn Achilles. He should be available.
They said camp, yeah.
Anthony Richardson has nothing left in Indianapolis with no hope of a future there. He should go somewhere else. The real question is who's going to take a chance on him as a backup and try to recover him. A lot of times it's been the same candidates. It's been the Shanahans, O'Connells of the world who've taken these former first-round busts. I'd say Anthony Richardson has shown even less than some of those guys that we're talking about. Way less than guys like Mac Jones and Sam Darnold even showed in their times as starters. So, got to be hard to convince a team to take a risk on Anthony Richardson.
When the Colts drafted him, everybody, he was a raw developmental type of player.
Didn't develop.
And yeah, couldn't stay healthy, didn't develop. There was also still one of the most bizarre things, the quarterback mid-drive pulling himself out of a game for being tired. He has never recovered. He's never recovered from that. And if I was a GM of any other team, that's something that I can't erase from my memory. Yeah. Like that
it's
that
as
is
bad as
unreal.
I'm seeing ghosts. It's worse, actually.
It's worse. Mid-drive, I'm tired. The quarterback doesn't pull himself out of a game. What?
Call a timeout, do something.
Elsewhere on what's trending in some MMA news, Ronda Rousey, a name you probably haven't heard in a bit, and Gina Carano, I believe is how it's pronounced, are coming out of retirement to fight in the first MMA card to ever air on Netflix. So they're just getting a fat check from Netflix as Netflix tries to do more live sports. The fight,
getting a bunch of old has-been social media influencer,
that's what the boxing
for MMA.
It's worked. It's worked for boxing. Well, not the sport, but for the streaming partners and it's worked for. Mike Tyson made a few extra bucks, and that fight was terrible, and people still watched. Anyway, it'll take place May 16th at the Intuit Dome out in Inglewood, California, where the Clippers play.
I got to say, I will never forget that face Anthony Joshua made before he knocked Paul out. That man had the biggest grin in the middle of the fight. That man had the biggest grin on his face like he knew what he was about to do was going to ruin that guy's day. Lastly, on what's trending, official Olympic medal count as of right now, so spoilers ahead. Norway leading all countries in both golds and total medals, 13 golds overall, 30 medals overall. The U.S. tied for third in gold medals and third solo in total medals. They got 20 at the moment with 6 gold at the moment, 9 silver, and 5 bronze.
That's
you and I were
trending.
watching the Canadians tandem speed skate or whatever.
Team Pursuit.
Team Pursuit.
Speed skating Team Pursuit, which is wild. That was fun. And right now, what do we got live? What is this? Is women's short program figure skating.
Yeah.
What country is that?
Lithuania?
No, I know that one I know. LTU. What's the one on the top?
Oh.
AIN. I feel like an idiot.
I don't know.
I have never seen that flag.
Antigua?
That'd be a different. I've never seen that flag. Lithuania for sure on the bottom of there. I have AIN. Somebody looked that up. It's going to drive me crazy until I know what country that is. It can't be.
Represented athletes from Russia and Belarus.
Well, that would be why I've never seen that because it's not a country.
It's the IOC logo.
That's why.
It's like the Russian athletes who can't go through Russia because Russia is barred because of an act of war. So this is a vetted either Russian or Belarus athlete.
That would explain
operating under the Olympic IOC flag. Essentially.
Okay, well that makes sense. Now I don't feel stupid. That'd be why I didn't recognize it.
What country is that?
Yeah, there you go. We'll get into the Olympics some more. There's controversy yet again. That's coming up in about 8 minutes. This time involving curling, a sport that we have played.
Locked in. Yeah, so now we know. We know.
Now we're experts.
We know what you can and can't do. You know?
Hey, I'm sad, Cody. I
Plus sting
haven't
operations.
seen anyone in the Olympics wear a helmet like you'd had.
That's interesting, you know?
Cody is the only person that's worn a helmet while curling.
They're there.
And it's the
You know,
funniest
they're
thing.
there for your safety.
My fiance saw the photo and goes, "Yep, that represents Cody very well."
And I saw the NBC affiliate here in town, 41, who obviously is carrying the Olympics. They also went out to the same curling
Do they
club.
wear a helmet?
And no.
Well,
There was no. I believe their anchors, reporters were not wearing helmets, Cody.
No, different job. Somebody also told me earlier in the text and said, "Are you applying for the K-State job?" I said, "No, I only wanted my hometown team.
Yeah.
I don't want to coach the Wildcats. That's a pressure-packed job. I wanted the Roos." And then they got Mark Turgeon.
It is. We're going to get back into Jerome Tang at 1 o'clock. We had Tim Fitzgerald earlier on the show. You're right. It's just a reminder of how quickly job security can change in coaching, and just things shift so quick from the conversations, legitimate conversations I remember having on this show. Hey, out of the 3 locals, who's most likely to be where they're at, 5-7 years from now? And Jerome Tang was the number one answer because people were saying, well, Self is going to retire. This was like 2 years ago. Self is going to retire. And then people were like, well, Dennis Gates, he's having success. He's a young coach. He'll end up getting a better job somewhere. And everybody was saying Jerome Tang would stay because, well, he's older and he was an assistant, so he'll just stay there. Fast forward to now, Tang's already gone. Bill Self's still coaching. Dennis Gates is still coaching. And the momentum has slowed on him at this point, leaving the job at Mizzou. It's just a reminder how quickly things change. Plus, there was the podcast host that said he would rather have Jerome Tang than Bill Self, which at the time wasn't great anyway, and it has aged very, very poorly for that take. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't remember who said that.
We had Tim Fitzgerald, and it was not Tim Fitzgerald, but I think it was somebody that
For
covered
Girl Power guy?
that might have been, yeah. And it wasn't great at the time, it really wasn't. And then now,
I don't want to, throw dirt on Bill Self, but right now in the current landscape of college basketball, there's an argument to be made that you'd feel more comfortable with Jerome Tang in the future of your program compared to Bill Self, who's struggling right now, but is having to do things a different way.
It was bad at the time, but now it's just become an all-time cold take. An all-time
freezing cold takes.
It was Cody. It was already below freezing at the time. It's now Arctic cold. It was below freezing, I think, at the time of the take. Anyway, we'll talk more about it. I want to talk baseball, spring training, warm weather, good vibes. Friday, spring training baseball right here on 96.5 The Fan. And check out Vern's Hot Stove Show and also social media. Vern's been putting up videos from some of the workouts and everything on our social channels at The Fan 965. And Jack Caglione, it's going to be a story all spring, going to be a story all season, and hopefully for good reason, but it's a big question mark. And part of the question is, how much is he playing in right field? Like, if he's hitting well, is he still platooning? I don't think so. But going into the year, do you think he is in a platoon at right field? We're going to have JJ Picola on the show, I think, next week.
Yeah, that's why, if I set an over-under on games at 110.5, I mean, going into the season, why is that not a fair number? He could be in a platoon and right. They say they're not going to guarantee him the job. If he performs poorly, I don't think they're going to hesitate. They stashed him, I thought, recovering from the injury a lot longer than probably normally needed in the middle of the regular season. It's like the way of not optioning him, but optioning him by holding him down there a while, making sure he's healthy before we called him back up. And I thought that was their way of slow walking him back up into the majors. And so if I set it at 110.5, I'd take the over right now, because I think that they understand what we understand, which is the swing player this season, maybe the swing player for the playoffs or no playoffs, is Jack Caglione. And it doesn't mean he has to be an all-star. He could just be a good or an even war player, not an anchor. Because that was the surprising part about last year, is he was an anchor. For the 40 games he was up, he was a problem. He caused more problems than had solutions. And so I think he's going to start in right field primarily. That's because I think Isbell's in more of a timeshare in center. Everyone's more in a timeshare in left. And second base is more of a timeshare. I think that they got more guys playing variable positions than right. I think they're going to play Jack Caglione against everybody except for lefties. It's my guess.
Yeah, the lefty thing is going to be real, especially early on. I mean, I expect early on, even if he's hitting well, I think that is the plan heading into the season. The question would be, if we get to late May or mid-May and Cags has figured it out and he's just hidden, do they feel like, we can't keep this bat out of the lineup even against lefties? I don't know if that's a good problem to have, by the way. So much of this depends on, is Carter Jensen also hitting really well? Is Lane Thomas a guy that's bouncing back and you're like, hey, we got to have him out there more? Is Kyle Isbell following up a career year with another really good season?
And
these are all good problems to have.
Crazy numbers for Kyle Isbell.
Yeah.
Career year for him, but still not, valuable defensive player, but there's still a limitation to his offense.
And this is factoring, right now, someone will get hurt at some point in the season. We're just assuming everybody's healthy. Clearly, somebody that we're discussing in the outfield or infield, somebody will have some sort of injury at some point. It's a baseball season, 162 games. So that can change this. But I really do think, you asked me about Cags, but I think Carter Jensen is the big unknown with how that could impact playing time for a lot of guys. He forces your hand, then he's in the lineup every day. Well, he can DH, so then what does that do if you were typically going to move Cags to DH for a day, or Vinny to be off at first and move Salvi to first and Carter Jensen's catching or whatever, however that's going to go, and the split. Because we had, I think, JJ on about a month ago at this point maybe, and we asked him, compared to Freddie Fermin playing time, what do we think
And he said about the same. And Freddie Fermin was on pace before he got traded to catch 81 games. So half the season. I still think that's high. I think it'd probably be more like 70 for Carter Jensen. But I also think they understand. Gold, was he not better? Was Salvador Perez not better when Freddie Fermin was taking some of the catching innings off of him? Salvi has to know that at this point. For a guy who says he wants to get in the Hall of Fame and that's a part of his legacy and wants to get the team back to the playoffs, he is a better offensive player. So let's just call it 81 games are eaten up at DH. So for Cags, and Vinny Pasquantino, he played 160 games pretty much the last couple of years. Okay, so I can get you 2 games at first, but I wouldn't. On the day that Vinny is off, I'm not putting Cags at first. What good's that do? I need him to learn right field. Somebody else can play first. Hell, Salvi can play first before Cags plays first this year, in my opinion. He is a right fielder, and we got to treat him like that. We half-assed this and gave him 20 games. Big mistake. Now, if there's a major injury that caused like long distances, like more than
because
6
do you
weeks,
do you buy into ultimately, and this is hard to predict. I mean, this is probably a 2 year from now discussion.
Yeah.
But there is still the real possibility 2+
He goes
years
back to first?
that Cags is your first baseman. This is not a shot at Vinny by any means, but like that part of the reason why I believe they also haven't given a long-term extension for Vinny is like there's still a chance his replacement is on the roster. Yeah.
I think Vinny's openly admitted that, and I think that that's a realistic possibility, certainly.
Yeah.
But not for this season. And it doesn't need to be in the cards for this season.
Yeah, they got
You're
a couple
right.
years.
Carter Jensen's going to determine if any of those other 81 DH days are open. You know, that's the truth. Yeah. Are these 81 days? Are they available for anyone else? Or the only time is your only playing time available at if we're trying to give somebody a day off and left or center, or it's a lefty a tough lefty as the starting pitcher on the mound. So maybe you can get some innings in right. I think we might see the rotation of players tighten more than we're used to. Because Lane Thomas, especially now with a smaller center field, and I remember we asked JJ about it. I asked him about it before they had announced the dimension shift. I said, can Lane Thomas play center field at Kauffman? He said, yes, the metrics tell us that he can. Now, he might have known that they were getting ready to move the fences in, and that was part of their metric base, but like they're telling you that man can play in center field. And we'll ask him. JJ Piccolo will start coming on with us weekly again 1 week from today, so we'll get a sense. But I think it's going to be like 130 games, 120 games. I think it's going to be in that range for Caglione. And he's going to get the full freight of a season to figure out where they are at that position. The other part is like, who's the next guy in the position group in the minors to actually push this? And I don't think that there's a single one
out, yeah.
this year.
Yeah, too far.
There's
out.
some pitchers, but I don't think there's like
position player wise ways out. I mean, Blake Mitchell, they're obviously good at catcher, so that's why his name has always come up as a trade candidate because where's the path for
where's
him?
another catcher going to play?
Yeah.
Salvador Perez still got time.
Yeah,
left.
that's why his name. Look, if this team is really in it, and it's August up against the trade deadline, that's when those conversations come back up again. You know, whether or not you need to utilize him in a package to go get somebody right now. That help you, but we got months. I mean, that's months and months from now.
What are the Royals? I guess I don't know where they're all their prospects, and this is what drives me. Like, this is just where their system is right now. All their prospects are like children. You know? Like just out of high school or in like Shields.
We got a lot of young players up right now, too.
Hammond, who they just drafted, and Kendry Churio, who's young, and like Sean Gamble. Like all these guys are pretty young. Pretty young players, so we'll see. Like, especially in the position.
A lot of them have been called up. You know, a lot of them over the last couple of years. Think about it.
They also don't need they're so young in the infield stuff. They also don't need like some influx of position player prospects to come up and dominate. They just need Jack Caglione to be good. That's it. Watching the Olympics right now. Is this the still a women's short?
It is
program.
Yeah.
That's great, Bryn. I know that.
Yes, I do know that. Thank you. Yes.
And another Russian or Belarusian skater flying under the eye.
Well, no, that's who's in first. That's why the name is still up
I'm
there.
sorry. Oh, that person got first. Kudos.
Right now in first place.
But yeah, someone from
Cody's enamored with the triple sow cow or whatever it is.
I don't know anything about figure skating, other than it looks cool. You know what the crazy part about this is? You watch the figure skating, and they'll do stuff. I'm like, man, that looks awesome. And then like the guy will come up with Johnny Weir or whatever. Like,
yeah,
he'll
him
come
and
up
Tara
and he'll be
Lipinski, I think.
and he'll be like, trash. Absolutely awful. Did you disgusting?
Well, this is Olympic competition.
I know, but like, I'm like, looks so nice. And he's like, worthless. Couldn't even land their jumps.
I just want to be able to go out on ice and not fall on my ass. That's
I can
it.
do that.
I just want to be able to truly like just
one step ahead of you.
Just go to Crown Center and be able to actually just casually skate around in a circle. That's all I want to be able to do.
I can do that.
Can't do it.
But
anyway,
easily after my number one favorite Olympic story this year is obviously that guy who cheated on his girlfriend and then admitted it on the world stage, and then she on a world stage
it's not the acid one.
Said, "I'm not." Nope, that's up there. This Canadian Sweden curling controversy has me absolutely locked in. Come on, man. The Canadians are cheating. Sweden set up a secret camera sting operation to prove that they're cheating. And now the Canadians are like, well, you're cheating by catching us cheating. And they're saying, Sweden's saying, this whole time they've been doing this. And we keep telling them that they're doing it, and they won't pay any attention. They ignore it. So they set up a way to catch them doing it and prove to the world that they were doing it. And they were jerks about it. You saw the altercation?
Well, it was live right in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
In the middle of the match, which Canada won, by the way. So let's keep that in mind why Sweden's upset on top of it. They lost.
yeah.
But you hear the Canadian curler curse out this guy, Oscar Eriksson, I think it was. Yeah. From the Swedish team. And he told him live on the mic, you can hear him say, "You can F off." It was a hot mic. It was a hot mic.
Yeah.
And so basically, you have to release the stone before the line drawn in the ice, or they call, this is a real thing.
We got told this.
This is a real thing. This is what it's called before people freak out. The line is called the hog line, and the stone is disqualified and taken out of play. According to the Swedish team, they've been double touching the stone, releasing the stone handle, which contains electric sensors, but then poking the rock itself and keeping a finger on it as it cruised over the line.
And you can see that they were doing that.
That's not
Clearly
allowed.
doing it.
That's what the Swedes are alleging.
It's not alleging. I saw the guy do it.
Yeah.
Why is his finger out if he's not going to touch it? Why is it out at all? It doesn't serve any other like, to what? Just point at the rock? The guy's clearly cheating. And then they got mad because they found out that they had secretly set up an angle because that angle doesn't exist in the broadcast. They set up an angle to bust him. They set up an angle to bust their ass.
Sunday evening, though, after meeting with curling officials from different countries, the World Curling said umpires would remain available to observe throws, but only do so at the request of the competing teams. So they said there will be rule changes after the Olympics. Although some are arguing it's already a rule, but they're just going to, it's one of those deals. In the NFL, we have the same thing, right? Like there's rules, but sometimes they don't emphasize it as much.
I do like
this is now going to be emphasized.
Him saying, "Go F yourself," and he's like, "I got it on camera." Like he was so sure. That's how he knew that they shot it. He's like, "I'll show you on camera." He's like, "You gonna accuse me?" He's like, "Oh, I'll show you on camera, pal. I'm not accusing of anything.
Well, we know that.
Let me assure you, you're doing it, and I have it. So I'm gonna prove it to you."
Now, do we know, is this just with curling or is it Canada and the Sweden, do they all just have a beef now? Like, we had the Olympic Village story about the 10,000 condoms. Are they just, no,
that's
you better.
off base?
Yeah,
All
not
of
the
Canada
Canadians and the Swedes are not.
I just hope they don't have videos of those, please. Don't.
Well, yeah, that would not be, that'd be not good. They're not getting along, Canada and Sweden.
No. Don't you like a little rivalry, a little hatred? Isn't that a part of liking sports?
For sure.
I like that these two are. I wish they had another curling match.
That's why we're excited for USA Canada hockey because we're about to get that. Hopefully.
And you and I both know the rules because we were taught the rules at curling. And double touch the stone was one of the things
curling
he said.
Experts now.
Once you have to let go of it before you cross the line. One thing I didn't realize is that I could cross the line. I thought at first like I had to, like in pickleball or like I wasn't allowed to like cross into that area, thinking maybe that was like a foot fault. Like a foul in like other sports, like a triple jump or something. I thought maybe we weren't allowed to cross the line. This guy, they're clearly cheating though, right? We agree? What is it about the Olympic sports that force people into cheating? Or just like they can't help themselves?
People are trying to get any edge possible. They think they can get away with it. And Canada's getting away with it. So that's what you try to find any little. Cody, you just asked that question. We have athletes allegedly injecting their junk with acid so that the uniform got more fabric by the time it's Olympics.
Feels like a hard one to prove.
Which one?
The acid one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Although I guess you just say your suit doesn't fit anymore. What happened?
Jeez. Hey, talking Olympics, the Iowa State player that hit the game-winning three
Yeah,
in the
his
corner,
sister.
his sister scored a USA goal yesterday.
Yeah, how about that's a hell of a 24-hour stretch for the family.
And then he goes on and says he thinks his shot was better than her shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great
buddy.
story.
Yeah, that's great.
That's pretty cool. It turns
his parents are in Italy, I think, watching, so they weren't at the Iowa State game. But that's awesome. See your son and daughter in a 12-hour span, be two of the biggest. Oh yeah, you pick
be
going
there
to the
for
Olympics.
the Olympics one, then a Big 12 game against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And catch a kid play in a million other games.
Hey, sorry, son. This seems way more important.
Dude, that's a layup.
Yeah.
I've got two kids, but if one is in the Olympics and the other one is just playing a regular college basketball game. It's not crazy.
Now, would it be harder if it was the national championship?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, one parent would go to one and one would go to the other. Is what you'd have to do.
Okay.
I think if it were your kid was in the Olympics and one kid was in these don't overlap, I don't think, so it doesn't really matter.
It would never come into play.
But if it did, and one kid was a national champion, you split up his
on a completely different level than what we're talking about Olympics. Okay. But so my twin sister and I, of course, were in the same graduating class, but we went to different schools. And the school district, they do it. All the schools do it at the same time at different schools, but at the same time. So that was the issue.
So you guys were graduating
who was going to go?
time.
Who was going to go to which graduation? Credit the school district at the time. They moved my sister to the back end of the alphabet. So they had a parking spot reserved. So my parents were able to go to my graduation, watch me walk across the stage. Then they left and went over to my sister's graduation ceremony, and they saw both of us graduate.
Nice.
That's credit to the school there.
The school district did a nice job. Shout out to Olathe School District.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
They helped you out.
They did. That was the whole thing. Because at first it was like, how am I going to decide which one to go to?
Flip a coin. I don't know.
Well, they would have done that.
One of you is going to go to one. One of you is going to go to
School district was a comment. So my sister went across stage with the Z's. And obviously I still went with the G's. Or actually, no, I went towards the beginning.
Was it alphabetical? Is that what it was?
So I was after, I was with the A's, even though my last name was G.
So they separated you by the maximum.
They gave much time as possible.
How far apart were they?
To drive?
The Olathe School District.
I don't know. It was probably like a 12-minute drive.
Oh, okay. They probably gave you more coverage than needed.
Yeah. This was many years ago. But as you were saying that, what do you do? It reminded me of that. Someone says, why would you and your sister go to different schools? Great question.
They started a new school at that time.
Yeah. So the high school I went to had a new program and these 21st century programs, and you could transfer. Or I didn't have to transfer, but they were letting you go even if you weren't in the boundary. So you could have gone to Olathe Northwest for engineering or e-communication or whatever. And so that's why I went, and it ended up being a good decision. I'm glad. It was actually a great decision that I made not to go to the same high school and stuff as my sisters. I enjoyed Northwest quite a bit.
But you guys were, because that school didn't open until you were like a sophomore?
Oh, yeah. We went to the same school throughout junior high. Up through junior high, I should say.
Yeah.
Anyway, up next, let's get back into KU and MU and what both did not do over the weekend. That was find a win and what it means, plus the random question of the day.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Looking for a deal on TRT? Well, don't pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket for a franchise or settle for one-size-fits-all dose. Go to Synergen X and Low T Center, where you can get that powerful TRT dosed for your body and get it covered by insurance. That's because they do personalized, individualized plans for you at Synergen X and Low T Center and work with most insurance companies to customize each dose of TRT for maximum effectiveness and safety. Look, it's TRT that actually works with your body. And this February, they're offering free testosterone test and discounted peptides and GLP-1s for getting your life back as easy as possible. Maybe you missed your chance in January, but you still want to make those changes. Well, at Synergen X and Low T Center, they can help you make them. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to Synergen X or lowtcenter.com and book today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM,
Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
The smartest people on earth know how to spot a good deal. That's why they shop at Ollie's first. You'll save up to 70% off the fancy store's prices. So you go, you smart and savvy shopper. You know where the real deals are, where they sell good stuff cheap.
Ollie's!
Good stuff cheap!
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Coming up in about 8 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day. We're also a half hour away from discussing Jerome Tang's firing. Earlier when we had Tim Fitzgerald on, he discussed a little bit about perhaps maybe what K-State is thinking on the for cause part of it. So that's coming up in a little bit. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. You can always watch the show on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. That way you don't miss any of the shows. Hit the subscribe button right here on 96.5 The Fan. Jay Southland Tozer, his text line opened up, 913-586-7965. Before we get to K-State next hour, Kansas and Missouri both lost over the weekend. In fact, all three locals lost over the weekend. For KU, it was a blowout loss against top 10 Iowa State. For Missouri, it was a disappointing loss to Texas after the momentum from beating Texas A&M. Let's start with Missouri for a second because we said they got back on the right side of the bubble with the win in College Station. Quad one win. Well, since then, A&M lost again. So A&M has lost 4 in a row. So that win, as time goes on, you need A&M to figure it out in a hurry. And then for Missouri, then you lose to a Texas team that I think right now would be in the tournament field as well.
Yeah, they would be.
And
Based on net ranking and everything else.
Ultimately, I guess, if you're asking like, hey, do I feel differently about Missouri? No, this is kind of who they've been, but also they have 2 top 25 games this week. So they've got the opportunity still in front of them in terms of trying to solidify themselves on the right side of the bubble even more. Right now, they're on the bubble. You got on the right side after A&M, and then you're right back on it with the Texas loss, in my opinion. But you get Arkansas and you get Vandy tomorrow night. So if you beat number 19 Vandy, well, then you're feeling great. They have 3 more top 25 wins possible right now on their regular season schedule. And then we all know you have another chance maybe in the SEC tournament. So they've got plenty still to build out the resume. It's just that was a deflating loss, I feel like, a little bit because you felt like you were getting some momentum after a nice win. Really impressive one, I thought, against Texas A&M.
It's like if you just, especially on the road, if you just lose to Texas, it's fine. They no-show some games in really big ways that should make you concerned about their ability to win any of these ranked opponents. Because that my biggest problem, and I think why I keep wavering on Missouri as a tournament team is I'm not sure they can put together a month that looks the same. And for the next 7-8 games, for the next month-ish, right before the SEC tournament would start, they got to put together some like consistency so that they don't have to win 2 or 3 games in the SEC tournament just to get to the NCAA tournament. Because night to night, like that's the last place I would hope for that. Like that would be good for them. Night to night, you do not get the same Missouri team. The way they played against A&M versus the way they played this weekend, night and day, Jekyll and Hyde. They are one of the more inconsistent teams in all of college basketball. Kansas, I just feel like they were hot for a long time, riding the ultimate high, beat the number 1 team in the country, and then woke up and remembered that the Big 12 still sucks. And Iowa State made sure they remember, no. You don't just get to win the Big 12 because you sleptwalked the first month of the season. It still sucks to play at Hilton. I don't feel any different about there. They can go deep in the tournament. They still have a very good team. They've improved a lot as the season goes on. They just got their ass kicked by another very good
I thought it was a perfect storm, heading into Saturday. One, you had already beaten Iowa State at home, and you beat them up, remember. You blew them out at Allen Fieldhouse. Then Iowa State loses to TCU earlier in the week. So to me, it was prime. Hilton, Magic, KU coming off an emotional win against Arizona earlier in the week. Iowa State with the embarrassing loss on the road at TCU. KU is a 7.5-point underdog on Saturday. So now let's see how they bounce back. They have 2 easier games this week. They can't slip up. They got Cincinnati and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, no.
Don't fall back to that. So, and then it heats up again. Then it's Houston and Arizona. And remember, Iowa State just beat Houston last night. So that's why I don't view the win or the loss, to Iowa State all that poorly for KU. As an Iowa State team that now brought Houston to its second loss in conference. KU's got 3 losses in conference. Iowa State has 3 losses in conference. So, in fact, and Arizona has 2. So now it actually, by Iowa State winning, it has brought everybody closer to the very top. You look at those Big 12 standings, man. It's kind of crazy. And this is why we're all excited for the Big 12 tournament next month.
Right now, Kansas is the 4 at 9-3 in the conference.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy how jumbled it is.
It's close.
And next week we'll decide a lot of this.
It's really between the 5 schools. Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, Kansas, and Texas Tech have between 2 and 3 losses. Like, that's it. 11-2, 10-2, 10-3, 9-3, 9-3. Between those 5 teams. So what will happen in the final couple games? Well, Kansas plays Houston coming up in next week, right, for Big Monday?
Yeah, Big Monday. Then that Saturday they play at Arizona. So it's all right there for them.
God, they play Houston and Arizona back-to-back games?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Just like they had to play Arizona then Iowa State back-to-back.
True.
So, I mean,
it's the Big 12, I guess.
I thought Iowa State was going to win because I actually thought that they were going to lose to Houston in a sense because I thought, their back's up against the wall. You lose to TCU, you got to beat Kansas because then you're on the potential of losing 3 straight to 4 straight because of your schedule. Iowa State, though, they're a scrappy team. They find ways to win games. I've said this about Kansas. The thing about Kansas this year, they're a likable team to watch. Last year, everyone hated to watch them because they were just not likable. This year, I think even if Peterson doesn't play, you're still an Elite 8 team. If he plays, you're a national championship contender, but if he doesn't play, you're still an elite team and you have Melvin Council out there. So Kansas, you slip up. You can't win every game in college basketball unless you're Miami, Ohio right now, who's the only undefeated team in college basketball.
I will say, if Missouri loses either of these next 2, they're not a tournament team. I'm done.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose, I think, to Arkansas.
If they lose both.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I think if they lose that, then it means the next game against Arkansas, because they play them twice, that becomes a must-win, and it means you're going to have to do some work in the SEC tournament. I think there's a real chance they could lose both in this week.
I think they got to find a way to win.
They just got to go 3-3 the final 6, in my opinion. You get to 10 conference wins, then get to the tournament and win 1 game in SEC play.
Is 1 enough?
I think you get in.
They'd be playing on Tuesday or Wednesday. There's a lot of teams in the SEC.
Well, right now they're ranked 8th, so they would get the bye, and then they would play the 9 seed, which right now is Texas, which is funny to me how we're ahead of Texas in the standings. But
3-3 down the stretch are 1 or 2 of those against a ranked team? Then sure, 3-3 works. But
it has to be because you only have 2 really that.
You have 3 ranked opponents.
Right.
So are they losing all 3 of them is what I'm saying, right? Like, if they go 3-3 on the stretch, but all 3 are losses to ranked teams, they're not bad losses, but that means you didn't pick up a quality win.
I guess I'm counting Tennessee as a ranked game because their net ranking is 25. right now. So
I'm just talking AP top 25. But that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Net ranking actually matters more, so that's fair.
So
it does.
But I think they beat. Knowing Mizzou, they're going to beat Vandy tomorrow somehow. They've only lost 6 home games in the last 2 years under Gates, which is crazy. So,
and one of them was Texas on Saturday.
Yeah,
they got rolled in their
own
building by 20.
They only lost 1 home game last year, and that was to Texas A&M on a last winning shot.
I would have thought for Gates.
How's that possible? That we were just a year or 2 removed from them not winning a single SEC game.
So I'm saying last year and this year combined, they've only
but the year before,
they didn't win a single conference game.
I guess I heard you. That's my bad. I thought you said in the Dennis Gates era. I was like, what?
No,
the last 2 seasons.
Okay, because the year before that, they didn't win a single conference game or whatever.
They just lose them all that year. And then
okay, I got you.
Lost no more.
I got you. That makes more sense.
Where did you say Missouri is in the net?
I think they're 66.
They were 62 heading in the A&M game. I know that. I don't know if they
66. I just searched.
They fell back after losing to Texas.
That's a bad spot to be. Where's K-State?
Oh God, in the hundreds, you would think.
I mean, lower than that, right?
It doesn't matter.
It don't, but I think I saw something.
100.
I think there's only been like 2 teams that have got an out-large bid that have been ranked 60 or higher. Or like 60 or lower. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That sounds right.
Because the net ranking factors into
Exactly. So
into that.
Mizzou's right. Like,
if you're wondering, the Big 12, Arizona's 3 in net, Iowa State's 5 in net, Houston 6, Kansas 14, Texas Tech 16, BYU 20. Just loaded at the top.
Goodness. It's a tough conference, man. Last year, the SEC had the best basketball conference. This year, it is, without question, the Big 12.
Cody, the top team in the Summit is 108.
They think the top team in the Summit is worse than K-State this year.
UMKC's 355.
Oh, wait, are you real?
They're 1-22.
Are you saying that? Is that the real number?
And
is that the last? Oh, it's so far down. They're only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams.
And there's a team.
Worse?
There's a team that's
college
winless.
Basketball.
Yeah, Mississippi Valley State is 0-25. 0-25.
They beat them. They beat Mississippi Valley State. Took it to them.
And yeah.
Also, Alex, your KU comeback win is aging very well because TCU now is moving up and they're
TCU's salty.
Yeah.
People forget about those middle. Anybody above the Cincinnati line can beat anybody else in the Big 12. Cincinnati and up can pretty much beat anybody in the Big 12. Everyone below that sucks, including Oklahoma State and Utah and Kansas State and all those. But anybody pretty much above that Cincinnati line, which includes TCU and stuff.
How do you make it through a college basketball season when you're 0-25? Like, how do you keep the team together? 0-25. Is that coach fired?
I don't know.
I think the automatic rule, I don't care where you're at. If you can't win a game at any level of a coach, I don't care if we're like other than
your contract's
than coaching, your kindergartners, okay? If you can't win a game, then it's an automatic void of the contract.
Who's 0-25?
Mississippi Valley State.
Oh, it shows on mine 1-25.
Shows on 25.
I'm on NCAA.com. Interesting.
CBS Sports has
okay.
them at
No, I'm just on the team sheet.
Oh, they beat according to CBS Sports.
They didn't beat a D1 opponent, did they?
They beat a Mississippi University of Women.
Yeah, that's UMKC also has one of those.
97 to
Hey, leave us out of this.
They're 0-25. They're 0-25.
They are 0-25.
It doesn't count. It really doesn't count, like, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, CBS get it off their record.
CBS is giving it to them as like a...
It doesn't count on the net rankings because the net doesn't count for those.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why UMKC is 1-22. They actually have more than one win.
They do,
but
some are
it doesn't count.
The net ranking.
So you're right.
Yes. They do have a win technically this season.
I don't even think Mississippi State Valley won a game last year.
What are they? Are they the Dirt Devil one?
Yeah, they're like the.
How are they Division 1? Should they just like go down a level? I feel like they might be the wrong level.
Wrong level.
Oh, the Delta Devils. Sorry.
Delta
Devils. They just lost 92-55 to a team that was 9-17.
Have they been close at all? Played within 7 of Alabama A&M. I'm just down a rabbit hole of like, have they been close to some wins? Yeah, they've been close a couple of times.
They fired their coach in 2022 after they were 7-72.
Who's the new guy?
After 3 years.
He's not keeping his job much longer.
That's probably accurate.
Let's just be real here. He's not keeping his job much longer.
George Ivory III. He's the head coach. He has not lost his job.
Good luck to George Ivory III for the rest of the season, Let's get to it, Drew. Or Drew. JT.
Yeah.
Used to it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold, you, JT. I corrected myself quick. Over on the text line, 913-586-7965. And of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, we live stream the show, so you can interact with us over there as well. The random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. So, the question I have for you today is related to the World Cup. Because I saw over the weekend that they are officially starting to sell the merch related to the individual cities. And then I thought to myself for a long time, because this show's talked merch before, we talked to the other stuff. And today, they announced all the Fan Fest events, right? There's going to be a lot of events in Kansas City as it relates to the Fan Fest. Essentially, it's like a bunch of 3- and 2-day event systems with different stuff going on, right? It might be concerts or kid-focused stuff and music festivals or fan festivals or like makers fairs, essentially, right? Where artists in Kansas City. So, cool stuff, right? You can read all about it up online and figure out all the different spots are going to be there. That's all throughout June and into early July before the games actually start. But then I was trying to decide. And so I wanted to know if everybody else was doing it, if we're not doing it. Yay or nay? Are you buying Kansas City-specific World Cup merch?
I'll buy a T-shirt or something, yeah.
You buy a shirt?
It's the only time in my lifetime that I'll probably be around a World Cup. So Yeah, absolutely. I'll buy. Yeah, one that says FIFA 26 Kansas City.
Yeah,
if I'm buying one, it needs to say Kansas City on it. Yeah, absolutely.
I figured you'd be an auto yes, not an auto yes, but I thought there was a pretty good chance. I'm on the fence. So I was like, when some of it is like the style, right? Do I like the style? Seems it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. The logo.
I'll wear it. You send me any, I'll buy it. And if you send me any FIFA 26 gear, I'll wear it. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. The We Are Kansas City or the FIFA 26 Kansas City. You're absolutely. Now, look, it's not cheap. 50 pounds is what it shows on their website right now.
50 pounds? What are you on? Why are you on the England site?
I'm on the regular one. It says Shop Kansas City. It just shows pounds.
50 pounds.
I guess I can change it here at the top. This is a worldwide event, man.
Yeah.
Here, I can get it in USD.
But it's taking place in the United States.
Would you like it in USD?
I would. Yeah, the American dollar, please.
$50.
That's not terrible. $50?
I think I'm getting a better deal. I think pounds are worth
there'll
more
be some
than
of
a
that
dollar right
to
now.
your point. There'll be some
why am
on,
I paying pounds?
There'll be some on clearance, 6 months after the event. I get it.
So $50 for a T-shirt, $75 for a hoodie.
I saw this come out. I might probably in the summertime
for a poster.
In the summertime, I'm obviously not wearing a hoodie, but I might buy a hoodie just so I have one for even after. But a T-shirt and a hoodie, I might buy one.
From the 816, no, soccer sucks. Not trying to buy a single thing.
Okay.
Great start.
All right.
816, nope. I want some more opinions on this. JT, you?
I'll probably buy it. I've actually signed up to be maybe a volunteer for the World Cup. So
okay, doing what? Do you know?
Aren't there volunteers just now finding out their roles?
Exactly. I haven't got the email back yet, but I signed up for announcing and doing media stuff for them. So we'll see if I.
There you go.
I mean, it's a volunteer work. We'll see if I get it. If I do, I get free merch. They give us a whole jumpsuit outfit and everything. So it'd be pretty cool.
But it probably just says volunteer on the back, right?
No, it says FIFA 26 World Cup. It doesn't say the city, and then they also give you a pair of shoes, Adidas shoes with it. So it's nice.
There you go.
I was like, okay, this is pretty nice.
Free labor, and they'll give you some shoes at least.
Yeah, so it's a whole nice jumpsuit outfit. It's like the teal color and everything. Yeah.
Over on Twitch, somebody says, "Yeah, I'm going to buy some, no question. Why not?" Says, "I'll buy a shirt." Says, "I'm also going to go to a match." So and again, I get this is the part for me where the Super Bowl stuff, I know it'll go on sale. Do you think? And I guess that's the follow-up question. Do you think, Gold, I will be able to score a on sale We Are Kansas City World Cup shirt if I wait it out?
Yeah,
because I'm not anti-owning one, but what I want to know is, can I get this gray hoodie? Can I just get this?
How much is the hoodie?
$75.
It's basically as much as the Chiefs Super Bowl hoodies.
Yeah,
that's the only problem.
Yeah, and here's the question: is it nice? It says 60% cotton, 40% polyester fleece.
That's also directly through FIFA. I bet you eventually you can go to Rally House and stuff and get. In fact, actually, I think they already have some stuff there. I'll just go. I'm not going to order directly through FIFA. Logo? I'll just buy it here somewhere at a store.
Somewhere local?
Yeah.
Well, I'm fine with that. I just want I want it to be the actual gear, not someone's interpretation of the World Cup.
Oh, you don't want it off of Etsy or whatever where it's handmade?
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm against that, but for this, Gold's saying, if it's a once in a lifetime, because here's the thing, I am not a trinket owner. So I don't want a pin or a button.
I'm with you.
Or a water bottle.
I'm with you.
So if I'm gonna I want, because what the hell am I gonna do with it? The hell am I gonna do with my World Cup pin? I'm just gonna have it, and it's just gonna, I'm never gonna display it, and it's gonna collect dust. And I just know how it's gonna go. I'm just never gonna use it, right? And so if it's gonna be that, well, I'm just not interested anymore. That's all. I just want to know if we're gonna buy it. Did you look at the list of events?
I saw the press release today. Got the email earlier today as well. Yeah, there's a bunch of different events going on. That's just the official events. Remember, there's going to be all sorts of events unofficially that local bars are doing as well to try to tie in. Those are just the official ones going directly through the.
Are you going to go down
FIFA
kind of like
campaign.
The NFL draft? You got to pop.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. I'm definitely going to check it out. I need to make a decision though by the end of the week on tickets. So the lottery? Did you get selected?
No.
So I did, but I haven't made a decision. Well, because I got selected for more matches than I thought. That's the problem. And I can't pick and choose. So. Do I want to spend $2,900 is the question. The answer is no, I don't.
To get all of them?
So I did not get selected for the Argentina match, unfortunately. I got selected for Category 1 tickets, so they're the good seats, for Curacao and whatever, and then Ecuador, Netherlands. 4 matches to answer the question. The Algeria one, but then also Ecuador, Netherlands, and all of them but the Argentina, of course, the one I wanted. And so I didn't think I was going to get picked for any of them. So I got picked for 4. But the problem is it's $2,900. And the question is, do I spend $2,900?
What is it for just 2 or 4? What's the thing?
2 tickets to each match.
2 tickets to each match. What's the going rate for one of them?
That's the worry. Is I don't know what's listed right now because or what the inventory. But right now, I could definitely make money
if you sold them immediately.
Yeah.
But it's a risk.
But they only tell you category 1, which is lower level or club level. They do not give you specific seats. So there's a big difference between me selling if I got in zone lower level and if all of a sudden I got lucky category 1, which includes like the 50 midfield. Well, those tickets will go for more. So my worry, like, do I spend the $2,900 knowing that I'm probably not going to lose money? Do I roll? Like, do I jeopardize that fronting $2,900?
You want to go to one match,
and I want to go to one match.
What?
Yeah.
So like it's like I guess if it's $2,900 for the 4, then for just a pair of tickets still on. Through the
it's $2,900
through the lottery.
$2,900 for a pair of tickets to 3 of the matches.
So it's still $500 a ticket for the category 1.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Man, $500.
Yeah, here was the email. Like, yeah, so 2 tickets, Ecuador, Curacao, face value is $1,000. Tunisia, Netherlands, 2 tickets, face value $1,000, and then Algeria, Austria, face value is $900. Not a ticket total, so $450 or $500 a piece. Someone says buy them all, then sell.
I'm gonna have to sit nosebleeds. Like
I'm just gonna have to sit and watch it.
I'm
on
asking,
TV.
do you want to go in on this? Does anybody want to go in on this?
$2,900.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
I bet Rob would.
Or do you just load up and?
I think you're gonna need someone to like, yeah, if you take the risk because of the.
I have to make a decision by the end of the week.
Ecuador and Curacao.
Otherwise, they get passed up.
Yeah, I got it.
I have till Friday after.
I bet the only person I could think of maybe is Rob in the station.
Dude, in fairness, I mean, right now, like the lowest category 1 for sale on like a secondary ticket website is like $700
a piece. So I'd be,
like,
I know. So the question is, do I sell 3 of the matches and go to 1, or 2 of the matches?
I mean,
and
if it's
go to
4, that's what I would do. Yeah, I would sell as many and pick the one you want the most and try to.
I mean, I would rather go to. The problem is the Argentina match is crazy. That's, of course, I didn't get picked for that one.
No, I wish.
Yeah, that's the headline, isn't it?
By the way, somebody's asking over the messages what are the events. Heartland, hello, a genuine Kansas City welcome, making people feel instantly at home. Pretty much just like come down, hang out in the area. Sportstown, USA, where it says Kansas City sports are woven in every life. I don't know what makes this thing different. The theme highlights the region's deeply rooted sports culture and invites fans to experience what it means to be a part of the city that lives their game.
All right.
The world game, then so like all the events are based on like, let's show you all the world food, world sports, experience that. Home team, which is a backyard 4th of July celebration that invites fans to enjoy the game with a distinctly American sports point of view. And then Casey creates the last one being a place where like artists thrive. So like an art installation, you could probably go down and see local artists and all that kind of stuff. Those are the 5 events they're going to do down there at FIFA.
Hey, Cody. Yeah. The text line wants to know. There is a texter that wants to know, are they selling World Cup condoms?
I don't think it's the same as the Olympic Village. I don't think they have that same problem. It's all like, not to be ignorant, but this is not a men and women event. It's they're all male athletes. So
yeah, that is true. That is true.
That would be the difference.
Yeah, big difference.
I'm not judging anyone, but I'm just saying.
But do you think that there's not some single lady in Kansas City who might
But the whole reason they do the Olympic Village thing is because they're all male and female athletes are all in one particular spot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I hear you. Anyway, that's the random question of the day.
Someone says, "I'll buy a pair from you. You need to give me $1,000 deposit first."
Yeah.
Drew and the couch.
Yeah.
You got to give them $1,000.
So I don't know. I got to make a decision.
Until the end of the week.
I know. I got an email the other day. They sent them out. If not, I can't be the only person hasn't decided yet. So there might be more if somebody's like hasn't got theirs. There's like one more ticket availability phase after this for all tickets that are left over from people that didn't select through this.
Enter again.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got selected for.
I wish I could just pick one. I don't need to spend $2,900 on tickets.
So just pick one, can you?
Like, no, you can't. It's all or nothing. That's the whole thing. It's like, do I want to load up the credit card or not for a month or 2?
I thought you could choose one.
Yeah,
it's all or nothing.
Yeah, that's the problem. Otherwise, I just would have bought the one. No, that's the issue, Cody. It's $2,900.
Tough.
Yeah,
tough.
That's crazy. You can't just pick and choose.
That's tough.
Anyway,
it's a risk.
913-586-7965. Yes, text line. That was the point I was trying to make. Thank you very much. All right, up next, let's talk about Jerome Tang getting fired and the fallout from that, including, does Kansas State actually think they're going to get away with paying nothing to Jerome Tang?
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I know it's been nice lately, but this is fall spring, which means you'll be working outside soon enough in those harsh conditions. And, with that and the new year goal, you're often looking about your new career, because we spent some time over at Centric getting to know some previous graduates, and what moved them to those new careers opened my eyes to those careers in IT.
Yeah, and learning the skills is only part of the journey over at Centric. They're going to turn the skills that you have into a career where people need you the most, or where people need the most support. Centric is exactly what you need if you're looking for those specific skills. And they have a whole career service team that's going to coach you through resume building, interview preparation, and guidance, along with landing a real entry-level IT job with local employers.
Make that first step. Schedule a short career pathway call with our buddy Russ. He'll help you decide what is the right fit and get you started there. That's Centric, CENTRIQ.com.
Liberty Mutual customized this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072. Or schedule online at OHDKC.com. OHDKC.com.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens. No secret here. I am a golf guy, and I have to ask you if you're ready to ramp up the excitement, because golf fans, BetMGM is making your next golf tournament winner bet even better with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Well, you ever bet on your favorite golfer to win a tournament only to see them miss the green? Well, with this bet, MGM's Second Chance promotion will get you your stake back in cash if your tournament winner bet finishes in second instead. That's right. Simply bet on any player to win a scheduled golf tournament during a promotional week. If you're right, you win. But if your pick finishes in second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Watch your favorite players go for the win all season long and bet knowing you'll get your stake back if they finish second. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please play responsibly.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help
help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider. 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Look out for Max Minute on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour, Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. JT Noah filling in for Drew today. He's producing. You guys can watch the video stream if you want. You interact with us there on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Plus, as always, the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. We'll get into something in the NFL that's happening today, and it doesn't really have a direct Chiefs roster impact, but it certainly could impact who they might be able to sign here in a couple of weeks. So we'll talk some NFL in just a bit. But I want to get back into the news from Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, I guess, really, with Jerome Tang getting fired. We weren't on the air yesterday, so that's why we're talking about it still today. He didn't win enough games, so nobody's saying he shouldn't have been fired. The timing was odd because, now that we know it's for cause as well, you let him go out and coach after the Cincinnati comments. Now, we had Tim Fitzgerald on earlier from GoPowerCat.com, and he admittedly said, hey, we don't all know the old details, but perhaps this is something that had been building for a while, that maybe K-State has more than they're letting on as far as, in their opinion, for cause. I think just on the surface, Cody, this is just a situation where they knew they needed to fire him. $18 million buyout. They don't have the money to pay the $18 million right now. Let's fire him, and we'll worry about the repercussions later kind of thing. And
we're going to get out of this contract, which Tim Fitzgerald did make it sound like was written vague enough that maybe they have some leg to stand on.
He made it seem like that the AD can use his own discretion on what is detrimental to the university, which is crazy to think. Now, I don't know how common that is, how uncommon that is.
And how much you can fight that
this just seems like K-State is trying to, hey, can we cut this in half? But, can we get this lower? Because it's not going to be $0. There's no scenario where they're not paying out a dime. So. And unless there is more baggage, this just feels like, hey, you're kind of screwing over Jerome Tang here. Like, we can all agree he should not have a job.
It should be like, why would I want your job if you're not even going to take care of me, even if things don't work out?
Right.
And they spend NIL. It's not that they've spent nothing under Jerome Tang, but if you look at this season, they rank in the bottom third of NIL spending for the men's basketball program. Not overall. They do spend money at the football program, and they were early adopters to the NIL. But from a basketball perspective, they spend less than most teams in the Big 12.
This is what Gene Taylor said. This was Sunday night when they had their media availability after news. This is why the athletic director said they fired Jerome Tang.
I don't want to get into it. There's language in his contract that addresses, certain things that could potentially bring him embarrassment. Basically his comments about the student athletes and the negative reaction to those comments from a lot of sources, both nationally and locally, is where I thought we needed to make the decision.
If there's not more to it than that, I don't see how they are still liable for everything.
You're not allowed to say a single thing in a press conference about a player. That's crazy.
You're saying Frank Martin and Bruce Weber. Frank Martin, I know for sure. You're talking about Frank Martin never said anything worse. He was a hell of a coach, and his coaching style is old school. But you're telling me he never said anything publicly that might have been viewed in a similar light. Bill Self saying that the KU couldn't beat the Topeka YMCA one year, many years ago. To me, Jerome Tang's
defensive team I've ever had.
I don't think Jerome Tang should be the head coach anymore. I'm not saying that they made the wrong decision to fire him. It's just that if you're doing it because you think you can get away with paying him, that's messed up. And unless there's some big thing we don't know, is it worth the public ridicule that you could also go through? Who's to say Jerome Tang's attorneys don't have dirt on Gene Taylor, on Kansas State?
I'm just going to say that all of these actions, and this is the problem they have, everything they've done in the last, 72 hours? I don't know.
Yeah,
Since
Sunday night,
72 hours makes this a less appealing job. You already were losing. You already spend in the lower third in basketball for NIL in the Big 12. And now you won't even take care of your guy? You're just going to run him over with your car on the way out of town? That doesn't exactly make me want to hop, skip, and jump to go take the job over at K-State. The New York Times have already put out their article over at The Athletic of some candidates. I'll list a few of them off for you. Casey Alexander, who's the current head coach of Belmont.
I've actually interviewed him one time.
Really?
Yeah. One time.
What'd you think?
He's ready. He's ready for the gig. Yeah.
Matt Brower, the head coach of Stephen F. Austin. Jared Calhoun, who's the head coach at Utah State. Steve Forbes, who's the head coach at Wake Forest.
He used to be an assistant at Wichita State.
Yeah, he was an assistant at Wichita State. Now, notice they're mentioning a lot of head coaches. Gene Taylor specifically said, pretty much not going the assistant route again. John Gross, the head coach at Akron.
Okay.
And then they mentioned Kevin Keats, former head coach, who's currently a commentator over at ESPN. Yes.
Okay.
The former NC State head coach. And Chris Jans, the coach over Mississippi State, whose name gets mentioned every single time there's an opening at K-State.
Chris Jans, Mississippi State's a really tough gig in the SEC. Would he leave Mississippi State, though, to go to K-State? I don't know. And Chris Jans I actually do know Chris Jans. He was at Wichita State when I was over there covering them. And he was on Greg Marshall's staff at Wichita State. He also knows the JUCOs pretty well in Kansas, and so has relationships in the area. That'd be if you told me they got him. I don't think it's realistic, but if they got Chris Jans, to me, that'd be a hell of a hire for Kansas State. Why would he leave Mississippi State?
This article is saying Chris Jans and John Schertz, the head coach at SLU, are pretty much the home run hires, and as in the home run hires that are not totally delusional like Brad Underwood, right? But this goes back to the NIL thing. If they'll give you more money for assistant head coaches and more money for NIL, the job.
No, but K-State, did you say, someone texted, K-State is not at the bottom for NIL and basketball. It's the opposite.
Really?
They're at the top.
This article said they were bottom third.
Yeah, we just had Fitzgerald.
Maybe I just misread it. Okay.
Yeah. Tim Fitzgerald was just on and said, no, that's the reason why the tenure for Jerome Tang was frustrating as well, Cody. This was not a coach that had no NIL funding. They were getting top
chances,
guys.
Yeah. Now at Mississippi State, he's 12-13, 4-8 in the conference. You would think his job's at risk all the same. He's in fifth to last in the SEC. And if they will, and this, you and I have talked about this a little bit, and this is kind of a bigger, higher arching conversation as it relates to college sports. Because of Kurt Signetti, and not just because he's had success, there are going to be more coaches. I think the next time Kansas hires, it'll be harder to just steal whoever the way it used to be, where you just take the job because it's better. I think some places, because you already have the NIL, and once you're winning, not Kansas, you always win.
I was going to say, I agree with you. I think Kansas is probably one of the exceptions to what you're saying, but yeah.
One of the few. But in any other, let's just say, any of these other programs where, typically it's just viewed as a better program. Well, if I'm already winning, the money is coming in. The NIL is good. Everyone's supporting the program. I don't have to leave to win. You don't have to leave to win the way you used to. But if you're not winning at Mississippi State, which currently he's not,
Yeah,
And Kansas
not this
State,
year. They were a tournament team
that's
last
fine.
year.
But if Kansas State says, we'll give you the money, we'll give you more for assistants and more for NIL than you're getting at Mississippi State. And you can do it in the Big 12, which is just as good as the basketball conference as the SEC.
And I don't know what Mississippi State's NIL basketball budget is by any means. I have no clue what it is. All I know is, last year they were the first 3 years he was at Mississippi State, they were a tournament team. I think they were 21-13 basically every single year.
Here's the thing. That'd be a home run hire by them. Do I think they're actually going to get it? No, that's the home run hire. But the same thing applies, which is when you do this Jerome Tang stuff and you mess around with a guy, why? Why would I trust you to take care of me? Why would I trust you to give me time?
Here's what former Virginia Tech head coach, now ESPN analyst, he's been an analyst for feels like 15 years at this point in time, but Seth Greenberg had to say about this whole situation.
That athletic director is embarrassing for what he is trying to do. What did he actually say right there? He said, we're going to hold our players to our standard. The way they played was unacceptable. They didn't compete. They didn't play hard. We're going to practice at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning because we're going to fix this problem. Yeah, did Jerome Tang make some mistakes in terms of maybe the players that he brought into the program because they're not winning enough? Sure. But let me tell you something. If Jerome Tang, say, wanted to take the UCLA job, he has a buyout. He'd have to pay it. You know what? K-State, you made a bad decision in your mind. All right, they're not winning enough games. Just say, he's not winning enough games. We need to make a change. But to try to dispute and try to create some type of narrative that he didn't fulfill his contract, that is absolutely embarrassing to K-State, the athletic department, the administration. All he was saying is our fans, our students, the university, our community deserves better, and we're going to hold our team to a standard. What did he do wrong? The only thing he did wrong in the last 2 years, he didn't win enough games. Jerome Tang is a really good coach, a really good person, a genuine guy. He's real and genuine, and that is an embarrassment to the university. You give a guy a contract, honor the contract. You can fire a guy because he hasn't won enough games, but you don't have a right to try to embarrass him.
In commentary like that is when I ask the question, is it worth the optics and all this of and hurting your reputation as a athletic department and as an athletic director if you're Gene Taylor? Is all this worth it? Now, again, maybe they have something that none of us know. We're going to be shocked in 6 months. We're going to find out, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, man, that sure, they were willing to keep that secret until they started losing kind of thing, and this is their way to get out of it. I don't know. If it's truly just the comments, it makes no sense. And to me, without even being an attorney, I would say they're going to have to pay up if that's what it is. But my guess is they're hoping they get a settlement, and they're hoping that they can save a couple $1 million. But is it really worth it?
Because the problem is, and any contract lawyer could probably tell you this, vague stuff in a contract works both ways. They're going to say the vaguity of this that says anything you say that could damage the reputation of the program can get you fired, so we can fire you and pay you nothing. And his lawyer is going to say, you could have fired literally any coach you had forever in the history of the sport. It's too vague to enforce. You have to pay me the $18 million.
The only part that's weird is...
This is the way to me to try to convince him to pay 10 to 12. That's my...
I agree with you. This was what's weird, because this clip from like 2 years ago is now floating around again. This was Jerome Tang talking about like the buyouts in college sports and building, and what he wants to do with the money and all this stuff.
Get a contract extension and then get fired the second year. Because that's what they do in the NBA. They hire you to fire you, right? So get fired the second year, but then they have to pay the rest of my contract. And then my wife and I, Ray, we're going to fly around and go travel the world and build schools and orphanages.
Now, there's more context needed, but he basically has like his dream scenario or whatever. And it was like, get fired in the second year, get the buyout, and
if
go.
If you got the paycheck, sure. Yeah. If they didn't want to pay him, eat it. I mean, just eat, or just make him coach, just hope that he gets better as a coach. I mean,
look, for Jerome Tang's sake, I hope he gets every single penny. I hope he gets all $18 million.
I'm always team the person in that case.
I'm team Tang as well, but there's a coach that
Team Tang.
Just like I said, it's Tang time out because he's out of here. But
tough for
Drink Tang, gang. It's Tang-terrific.
That's a good one. But I liked. There's an ESPN head coach that was a former head coach that I thought K-State could go after, but with all this drama, I don't know if he wants it. But Kevin Keats was at NC State, did a lot with what people thought was nothing. Took him to the Elite Eight that 1 year.
Yeah.
But with all this controversy, does he want another place where he feels like it's going to be a shaky place? Like NC State was shaky for him, so I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be weird, but they got to figure this out before I think anything happens.
Look, I think in the end, and this is a question I asked Fitz, and I think we should answer ourselves, what went wrong? In the end, the job was just too big for Tang. So it might not be that, Keats couldn't work. He's coached in a major power program. And when it was all said and done, Tang was a 20-year assistant under Scott Drew, completely unproven. And it turns out he couldn't handle the whole job, everything the job entailed. And he had one super talented team, and nothing he could do was wrong because he had a super talented team, and we underestimated how much talent was on that roster. And ever since then, it has gone bad. And so, we understand now what took place. Any qualified head coach, in my opinion, likely to do a better job than what Tang.
Do you think Gene Taylor should have a job still, or will have one a year from now? Like, if you're the university president,
quit after 5 years, and he hired a college basketball coach who he had to fire and is trying to get out of. No, I think there's a good argument that Gene Taylor deserves to be canned.
And let's
crazy.
be real.
In 2023, you'd have been like, he's crushing it. Look at all these people he's bringing in. It's going great.
Right.
And let's be real. Klein walked into him. It's not like he got Klein to come to him. I mean, Klein walks right back to K-State. I don't think if he went to K-State and did all this stuff for K-State, is Klein really going to pick K-State in a sense to be the next head coach?
And this is always the tough part about it, because it's not all about the athletic success. Because sometimes their job is fundraising. He's brought plenty of money into the NIL, plenty of money into the programs, but he's hired the wrong people. And I understand, it's tough on the football one.
I think Kleiman was a great hire. He was a great hire for them.
Good hire. I think great. I think you got to last longer. Win a Big 12 title.
Right.
Great. You got to win a big. Did he win a Big 12 title?
They did.
Oh, okay, so that helps. God, this is tough. It's like a sliding scale of great feels too strong, but I would accept very good.
He won a Big 12 title. I actually think I think his tenure was a success. Absolutely.
But when you hire someone, don't you want more than 5? How long did he coach there?
You would like them to coach more, but
also it's changed. 5 years ago, there's been a lot that's changed in college athletics.
Oh, yeah, I understand. He coached for 6 years there. He won, and as you pointed out, he won a Big 12 title. So if you're gonna do that to be a Big 12 champion,
I mean, he's one of just 3 titles in school history.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other ones were with Bill Snyder.
Yeah.
Do you think
I'd probably look? It's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I'd probably accept very good.
Okay.
Do you think if you take out the Elite Eight run,
it's not really a big deal.
What's that?
So take out the Elite Eight run from Tang.
Yeah.
Do you think they fire him if this year, if they hadn't made the Elite Eight yet? Like I'm saying, so you take out the Elite Eight.
He wouldn't have gotten the extension.
He would have got. Well, he still could have, based on the numbers. Yeah,
the Elite Eight alone.
They wouldn't have bought into the. Hey, he's actually going to leave us and go to Arkansas. I mean, they played K-State so well, and that's what I also think is happening. They know they got raked over the coals on that extension, and actually thinking he was leaving for Arkansas, and now they're trying to get that back. They're trying to correct a terrible decision by screwing him over.
Because I think Tang actually put a lot of pressure on himself when he went to the Elite Eight. Like, you take out the Elite Eight, okay, hey.
Well, yeah, the bar was set extremely high.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
But here's the thing, if K-State fans are smart enough, like, if Elite Eight first year, if you would have told them that, like, after that he was just a tournament appearance team, nobody would be calling for him to be fired yet.
No.
He was not winning enough games the last couple of years.
And they were using so much NIL money to get that roster.
Yeah, the one thing he can't have as the excuse is that he didn't have NIL funds.
Like, you brought in that Hawkins kid, and they did nothing last year with that Hawkins kid.
He's just not, Hawkins, in the end, he's just not a good coach. And he had a great team, and that team made a miracle run because the tournament can do stuff like that. But other than that, he's a bad coach, and they had to run him out. No one's arguing the firing. I'm just saying it's pretty embarrassing to do that. They got based on that list over at The Athletic, I mean, there are some hits that I would say are good hires. We'll see if they're able to get any of those.
All right, let's talk a little NFL, because today is actually an opening window for franchise tags. And for the Chiefs, this is not an offseason like we had a year ago, or you're talking about Trey Smith and his getting tagged and scenarios. They don't really have a franchise tag candidate. I would be shocked.
Jalen Waddle?
I'd be shocked, though, man, at $20 million. That would be surprising given their cap situation. I don't think they want to hold on to $20 million just sitting there and taking up space. They don't have that luxury.
Brett Veach likes that option. He's tagged Chris Jones, Trey Smith.
Jalen Watson's none of those guys,
and
though. Chris Jones, at the time, best at his position, one of the best. Trey Smith, viewed as one of the best guards. Jalen Watson is a very, very good corner. He's not even close to a top 10 corner in football, let alone top 3,
just
top
those
5.
Two? I felt like there was one more franchise. Orlando Brown Jr.
Yeah.
Now, he's tagged and traded a couple.
Yeah.
And, like, in their history, the last 4 guys to be tagged by the Chiefs are D Ford, who's tagged and traded. Different system. Chris Jones, right? 2019, was that Veach? Oh, that might have been.
D Ford was 2019.
Okay, that
D
was
Ford
Veach.
was 2019.
So Veach tagged and traded D Ford, tagged Chris Jones, and then didn't sign him, and then had to sign him the next time. Orlando Brown Jr. tagged and traded. Trey Smith, Orlando Brown Jr., they tagged and played, right? And then he eventually became a free agent signing for the Bengals. And then Trey Smith, they tagged and signed. So they did a tag and trade. Tag, he played his entire contract, but stayed with the team later.
Yeah.
A tagged, and then he left as a free agent, then a tag and signed. They've done every version of a tag under Brett Veach. So you sure they wouldn't just pay Jalen Watson some cash?
I don't think he's getting franchise tags.
I think we're watching the franchise tags for the players you want. Kenneth Walker, unlikely to get a franchise tag, according to reports. Breece Hall, likely to get a franchise tag, according to reports. What are they doing with George Pickens? What are they doing with all of these players? I'm more interested in the players who may or may not get tags from other teams than what's going to happen on the Chiefs.
Yeah, I maybe we're way off. I don't believe the Chiefs are franchise tagging anybody this offseason. You know, in team history, I know you've listed off a bunch. In team history, the Chiefs have only tagged 11 ever.
A lot under Brett Veach, though. It's a tool he uses.
But they've used it for, to me, like the top tier play. I mean, Jalen Watson's a really nice player. He's not in the same realm as Trey Smith, as Chris Jones. You know, he's just not in that. Even Orlando Brown Jr., I know people didn't like him here, but he was playing at a left tackle, and he was still probably the 10th to 15th best at his position. Jalen Watson's not a top 10 corner. He's not.
I think the difference is that had you let Trey Smith go, he'd have been the highest paid guard in the NFL.
Yes.
Had you let D Ford go, he ended up being one of the highest paid edges, like top 10 paid edges.
He got like 4-year, $80-something million contract.
He got a lot of money on an average annual per year. So, like, those things pay attention. But here's some of the guys that we're going to pay attention to. Breece Hall. Kyle Pitts. These are guys who might get
Pitts,
tagged.
I think, really is likely to get tagged.
Kenneth Walker, right?
We already have the report today that he's not going to get tagged. Remember? Have that out today, that out of Seattle, that he's not going to get franchise
No,
tag.
I still think he stays in Seattle.
Same. I'm with you. I think he'll re-sign there.
Yeah, I think the only reason he's not getting franchise tag is because of that. Trey Hendrickson, who they're saying is at least a,
They're going to tag him again?
I don't know. It's another defensive line candidate. Yeah. Reportedly, he came back to the team because they were willing not to do that. And then Pickens. Other than that, it's like Daniel Jones, and that might be the end of the list. There's only going to be a handful of guys, but in fairness, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, and Kyle Pitts all hypothetically matter to that. Now, if Travis Kelce comes back, I don't think they're going to be in the free agent big dollar spending. And if George Pickens were available as just a regular-ass free agent, I would then become interested. Like, why wouldn't I be interested in a guy who's operating like a number one wide receiver, and he's just on the street, and he's in his early 20s or mid-20s? Yeah, I'm not nuts, but I also think he's getting franchise tags. So we'll be paying more close attention, I think, to that. Other than Jalen Watson, I can't think of.
No, I mean, who are you gonna? There's no need. Like there's nobody that you need to actually do that. You have everybody else in place financially.
Yeah,
I mean, and McDuffie, you don't need to do that yet. He's still got time on his contract, so he's not.
He'll be
that's a next year thing.
He's a trade candidate.
That's a next year thing if you're going down that path.
And it doesn't mean he will get traded or anything outside of that, but he is at least in that category. Because there's all these other, like I saw some of the other lists, like no one's going to someone did a list, NFL.com did a list of, here's somebody for every team. This is how you know there aren't that many players to franchise tag. The Panthers option is Rico Dowdle. They're not going to franchise tag Rico Dowdle, right? Or Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. They're going to pay Isaiah Likely $16 million. He'll happily sign that check, won't he, Gold? Okay. Romeo Dobbs? Okay, I'll sign the check. Yeah, you got it. You want to pay me $25 million a year, $30 million a year? Happily. The only other guy I'll mention for the Chiefs, and then we can move on from it. Brian Cook. He is projected to be a $15 to $16 million a year per player. You could franchise tag him for 20. What's the safety number? Do you know?
I do not. Chiefs franchise tag Cook? No way.
You don't think so?
You think he's a candidate?
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that kind of player. I'm
open
good.
Today?
Yeah, he's not that kind of player.
Okay.
Like the franchise tag is usually for some of the elite players in the league.
Typically, yes. But he's a free agent. I wanted to bring it up. That's all.
No, you're good for bringing it up. I'm just saying, there's no way.
Somebody says, if Breece Hall and Walker are unavailable, are you more in on Love or ETN?
Yeah,
I like
Algier's still available. ETN's still available, by the way.
I want ETN.
$20.8 million, Cody, sorry, for safety.
20.8? Okay, that's out.
Someone says, couldn't the Chiefs tag Kelce? No, he's a free agent. They don't have to. And the franchise tag number is $16 million, but he's not under contract. He's a free agent. So
why would they tag him and pay him $16 million?
You can't. You can't. He's not under contract. Like literally, you can't. But yeah, if he had that would be just a scenario that's completely different.
No, and like for the people who are saying Kenneth Walker is not expected, by the way, to get franchise tag, although we think he's getting an extension. So let's just say Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker are unavailable free agent running backs. I can still get Etienne, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier. Like Golden I've said this before. Our plan is either get one of the big names available, like Etienne, and they are the starting running back, and there's no real questions about it, or pairing a second or third round running back who can play right away with guys like Tyler Algier or others who can handle a good workload or work through those things and like balance out the rest of the running back room. Like there's more than one way to play this in the offseason for the Chiefs at running back. I just don't think it has to be that way. So we'll see which way it goes, I guess. It's franchise tag day, at least for now, in the next, 2 weeks, essentially? Like you can franchise tag up until essentially free agency opens, right? The NFL offseason calendar?
Mm-hmm. Franchise tag. Well, the franchise tag is that, and then you have the June deadline or whatever, July deadline to actually get a long-term extension. But we had that whole discussion last year with Trey Smith. I just don't think we're going to have to waste our time too much on franchise tag stuff this go-around.
Scouting combine begins next week. March 3rd is when you have to designate, like you said, and then March 9th through 11th is when the free agency period begins where you can legally tamper, and then gates are open.
The legal tampering period.
March 11th. What a stupid thing to have in place.
Legal tampering period.
If I'm allowed to legally tamper with a player, just open it on the 9th. What's the difference?
I don't know what the exact reason is for that. Haven't given much thought to it.
Is it like the purge? They just think I'm less likely to tamper if I have a legal area in which to do it. I'll just follow the laws the rest of the time if you just give me my one purge day. Is this the assumption here from the NFL?
They're just trying to have some restraint on it or constraints on it. That's all they're trying to do. All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending and talk more about Tyreek Hill, who is a free agent. He could actually sign today if he wanted to, although a former NFL doctor says that might not be possible. We'll explain that next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel just handed you the tool that makes every college hoops parlay worth more, the Boost Builder. Here's the deal. You get a Boost Builder to use on any college basketball parlay with 2 legs or more. Then you start building out your combo. You add 1 leg, add another, because every leg you add increases your boost all the way up to 105%. You decide how far you want to take your college basketball parlays. You just open up the FanDuel app. Then you're going to choose your college hoops market, apply the Boost Builder token, and watch the percentages climb with every pick that you lock in. You head to FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Minimum 2-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Boost Builder tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Start your summer at the Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Overland Park Boat Show, February 19th through the 22nd at the Overland Park Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Start your summer at the Overland Park Boat Show. Visit lakeoftheozarkboatdealers.com for more information.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
We're on the countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
This update is brought to you by Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Savings!
Discounts. The best bargains.
At Ollie's, we've got brand name merchandise at up to 70% off the fancy store prices every day.
I get to keep more money in my pocket.
Ollie's! Good stuff, cheap! You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on What's Trending. The MLPA Executive Director, Tony Clark, resigning according to multiple reports. That's because his name has come up in the investigation taking place right now with alleged financial improprieties at the Players Union. The CBA is up in December. League likely headed to a lockout. Not great timing to have your executive director stepping down and accused of cooking the books or whatever. Not great. Not great for the players.
I would say it's a troubling sign, and maybe a longer conversation we can have tomorrow, but troubling sign for them as they enter very serious negotiations with the league. They say Bruce, what is his name? Bruce, the guy second in command of the MLBPA. He'll handle the negotiations.
Bruce Meyer?
They claim that it will not. Yeah, Bruce Meyer says it will not change, at least at the moment. Next up on What's Trending, the window to designate franchise players we mentioned opens today at 3 o'clock. Seahawks are said to be unlikely to use a franchise or transition tag on Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, of course, but that Breece Hall is expected to be tagged by the Jets. Okay. I think partially because they think they can tag and trade him. And look, I don't think it's going to cost a lot to get Breece Hall, knowing you're going to have to hand him a contract as well. But they just feel like there must be enough teams in the NFL who will toss him something for that guy. I think he'll still be available, but at the price of a draft pick. And then I get less interested.
That takes him off my list.
I agree. Yeah. Actually, I'd rather be going a different route.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, some news out of Minnesota during their spring training. Unfortunately for them, their starting pitcher Pablo Lopez expected to miss the entire 2026 season due to a UCL tear. MRI confirmed it. They have not officially ruled him out. They're going to have him seek a second opinion, but that's a huge blow to a Twins team that's already not expected to do much. They lost 92 games a year ago. They traded away some key pieces. He's been a very good pitcher. He was awesome in the postseason. I guess it's been 3 years at this point in time.
Yep.
But a big blow, I guess, quote unquote, good news for the AL Central, but not for the Minnesota Twins.
We'll have to keep looking at baseball. Obviously, spring training in full effect. A game this Friday. Spring training game number 1 against the Rangers right here on 96.5 The Fan. Next up on What's Trending, according to reports, it is inevitable Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson will be requesting a trade from the Colts this offseason as they plan to likely franchise tag Daniel Jones and probably play that out another year. That obviously does not impact the Chiefs. That is what they should do, by the way. Franchise him, pay him like a top quarterback for a year and find out whether it's not continuing forward there or if they need to find yet another quarterback in Indianapolis. But for Anthony Richardson, yeah, try to go find a fresh start anywhere else. He was a project. He's when it's going this out for players, like they're cracking orbital bones, trying to stretch. What are you going to do, man? It just is what it is. You got to move on.
Some golf news. Some golf news today. Tiger Woods has not ruled out playing in the 2026 Masters. Remember, he has not played since 2024 at the Open. He missed last year's Masters due to injury, is yet to play. Tiger Woods was asked, would he rule out teeing it up? He simply said no, went on to that and said, quote, I'm trying to come back, put it that way. The disc replacement has been one thing. It's been a challenge. I've had a fuse back, now a disc replacement, so it's challenging. And now I enter a new decade, so that number is starting to sink in. And as us thinking about the opportunity to be able to play in a cart, that's something that, as I said, I won't do out here on the PGA Tour because I don't believe in it. But on the Champions Tour, that's certainly that opportunity. So eventually he's going to play on the Champions Tour and just drive around a cart and probably have success.
And just be an ambassador for the sport.
It's walking the entire course, though, with his back problem is a tough. Like, even if you make it through day one at the Masters, can he walk 18 day after day after day?
No. I mean, certainly some court, and I've, like, they say that about the Masters. It's hilly. Like, you walk around there, it's kind of tough, at least on that end.
We all know the injury. I mean, he announced in October of last year that he had back surgery for the collapsed lumbar disc, and he was already recovering from the torn Achilles. Yeah, I mean, I think it's over as well. But it's still, him being in the field is still a great thing.
Their best player is the most boring man on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, it's the opposite vibes check-wise as Tiger Woods, because their current best player, paint-dryingly boring. Next up on What's Trending, the Olympic medal count official as of right now. Norway's got 30 total medals, including a world-leading 13 gold medals. U.S. currently in third at 20 medals, 6 gold, which is tied for third. They also have 20. They trail Italy by 4. Italy hosting them and was ready for them. 24 medals so far.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. So Tyreek Hill is officially a free agent. Got cut. No surprise there. Everybody kind of figured with the dollar amount attached to his name and then the very serious knee injury. But I think for Chiefs fans that want him back, does the potential that he's not available week one change that for you? Because we can play the cut again if we want. Dr. David Chow, former NFL doctor, said that as serious as this injury is, he may not be able to clear or pass a physical right now anyway.
Which means he can't sign a contract until he can, yeah.
And so, okay, that's one thing. But if I tell you that he's not actually available till like mid-October or November, do you want to sign him now? Why? He wants to come back to you. If there's not a ton of interest out there in other teams, it's the Odell Beckham Jr. thing from a couple years ago where he was available, but everybody kind of knew he was rehabbing. And then October, November, people started calling around, and then Beckham signed with the Rams or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like that is, to me, likely where this goes. And that makes it more likely he comes to Kansas City. I'm actually way more intrigued on bringing back Tyreek Hill in that scenario. I don't really want to bring him back if it's, no, he's good to go and he's going to cost, X amount of money. I'd rather bring him in. Hey, you've already seen how the offense is looking. Has Xavier Worthy progressed or not? If he hasn't, let's call up Tyreek Hill in midseason and see if he's available if he's not playing anywhere else. Now, you have to have the knowledge of him not signing somewhere else. That's where the Chiefs have more on that than we would.
I understand that he has not missed any time for suspension as it sits right now. I will say there's actively an open investigation from the personal conduct policy, still active against him. So, this is one thing we haven't mentioned at all. Part of the reason I don't want Tyreek back is I think he might just be a sucky person. So, I'll just say, that's part of my disinterest. I'm not interested.
Problems follow him around.
Yeah. And he seemingly is constantly in it, and and everything else. And he left kind of sour, seeming like, Tua is the best, whatever.
No, he had he took some shots towards, even if it was joking or not, took some shots towards the Chiefs and Mahomes.
I think it's pretty clear he wants back. I still think it's kind of I think it's like a 1 in 4 chance. You want me to put an actual number at it? And the reason why it's 25% is the Chiefs love reunions. They seemingly listen to players as it relates to that. And I do think Tyreek Hill will be available for below.
He is 4-1 offshore.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. Okay, well, offshore agrees. 4-1. But so, like, the way we look at it is, I think it's probably right around there. I think this is the opposite of the direction that they should be looking to build this team. For the same reason, I am not interested in Jeremiah Love at 9. I still think, even considering, because they have Patrick Mahomes, they can be a Super Bowl contender. Because if they got the draft really right, I think they could supercharge part of this and everything else in between. But because I'm still more interested, whether I think that about the team or not, in playing the long game. It's not the long game. Like, I need to set up the next 7 to 8 years of Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl window. Bringing in Tyreek Hill, drafting a running back, bringing in Evans. Like, that doesn't accomplish that.
No, I just don't.
In a lot of ways, you know?
Also, based on this from Dr. David Chow, I don't think he's ready week 1. So this could drag on.
I'd love to see Tyreek Hill continue to play. His injury is significant, though. His early season injury was a knee dislocation. This was by video, an immediate worry for nerve damage, peroneal nerve palsy. He appeared to have the nerve palsy when he was seen walking after his initial surgery. He's said to need another surgery per his own post, and he's been cut by the Dolphins, likely with a failed physical designation, although that hasn't been specified yet. He won't be able to sign with another team until he can pass another physical, and so it remains to be seen when that might happen. He's 31, I believe, and any significant knee injury, much less a knee dislocation, is in the career-threatening category for the type of player that he is. I certainly hope it's not career-ending. I want to see him back. Where he lands will be a different story, and it seems more likely that would be closer to later this season or next season than right now.
That's his timeline. But if that's the case, then there's no reason to be any rush to sign him.
No. And again, it's pretty low on my want list. Like, if you and I did an entire show, like we did 4 hours, we said, you and I, let's lay out the dream off season for the Kansas City Chiefs. For agent signings, contract extensions, drafts, right? Who they cut. Like, we just laid it out. Here's how they're saving money. Here's who they're drafting. Here's the contract extensions. Here's the contract restructures. He would be I built out the multiverse for the Chiefs offseason. It's like run 9. I don't know. Like, it is not the way it goes in a perfect plan. It's not the way it goes in the second most perfect plan or third or fourth most for me. It really isn't. And that doesn't mean that there's not some way to make it work. It just, the price is going to have to be so favorable to Kansas City. And I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't genuinely know what his motivation is this time. I can tell you last time he had a choice between staying with the Chiefs and taking the money, he took the money.
What role does he want? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The only way I'm interested is if it's like a mid-season thing, because at least the roles are established at that point in time. You either have an injury and you're thinking he can help you out or something. Signing him in the offseason and potentially hurting the growth of Xavier Worthy to find out more and all that and blocking him, or if, let's say, you bring in a rookie, what role are you asking him to have? I don't think it's worth the headache, man. I don't. And I know Chris Jones tweeted out basically some acknowledgement of wanting Tyreek Hill back. And I know guys in the locker room still love him, right? It was to them and for a teammate, and they had a lot of success together. So I get it. I don't fault Chris Jones for having that feeling about it. I just don't know if it's worth going down that. If this was Tyreek Hill, no injury at all, it's a different conversation, even from a player standpoint. One, I question it just as you kind of were saying, just do you want the baggage? And then on top of it, legitimately, he just may not be the same football player. Like that's a real possibility.
He was obviously good at a lot of things as it relates to being a football player. You can't just be fast and be good. Otherwise, Ted Ginn would have been a good wide receiver. He's great in a lot of ways. Yeah. But, that kind of injury? He doesn't play quarterback or guard. He plays wide receiver. And he's in his 30s.
Yeah, someone was asking how did Mahomes only miss 2 games from a dislocated whatever, and
those are different.
2 different injuries. Mahomes dislocated his kneecap, not his whole knee, not his whole knee, and didn't have any structural damage. Tyreek Hill had a much more serious injury. Much more serious.
Yeah. Slight difference in the. Oh God. I mean, go back and watch him. Do you remember? Gold Ice. Did you see the video? Were you able to dodge the video the last time?
Oh, just hear every time we play the cut of Chow saying the dislocated knee. My right knee just hurts because I'm mental image of. No, I was watching the game at a bar when it happened. I remember against the Broncos, right, or whatever game that was. I think Broncos game or. There were two, it was a doubleheader Monday Night Football game. There was the Broncos were playing, the Dolphins were also playing. I don't know if they were playing each other. Bengals were also playing. I can't remember the exact. But point being, yes, and it hurts my knee just thinking about my knee going in the wrong direction. So
it was
no,
yeah, man. Nope. It was gross. It was gross. It was hard to watch. Yeah. He made.
Look, we all have trade scenarios. I hate this scenario that just got texted in.
Okay, let me hear it.
This is from the 913. Package Worthy and McDuffie to San Francisco for Christian McCaffrey and picks. No.
What? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely
what?
no.
No.
Wait, are they giving us picks?
Yes.
Okay.
And
that helps.
Christian McCaffrey. No, like this would have been cool 3 years ago. I don't want 30-year-old Christian McCaffrey in a trade and giving away Trent McDuffie for that. What's the pick? Because I know you're not getting a first rounder back, but I'm also not. If it's just a 4th round pick in McCaffrey for McDuffie and Worthy, hell no.
I'm more interested in the one that was mentioned in the Daniel Jeremiah mock draft we mentioned earlier today, which suggested Trent McDuffie for the 20th overall pick in Dallas.
And Christian McCaffrey, like this year, it's a $10.8 million cap hit. Cody, next year, so you're trading him for 1 year because next year, guess what the cap hit is? $26 million. He's never getting $26 million. The Niners are going to be probably going to have to do something about 26? That even after this year. Yeah.
Where are they at?
What do you mean?
Like cap wise, the 40.
Well, this year it's only 10.8.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying you're trading for McCaffrey, but after 1 year of them, you're going to be having to make a decision on a $26 million. So no,
let them deal with that. No. Not you.
No,
I just didn't know where they were.
Someone says, "What do you think about the rumor the Chiefs in Arizona are thinking about swapping Marvin Harrison Jr. for Xavier Worthy?" It's fake. It's from a parody account. Don't get fooled.
We can talk more about
that's a parody.
Trades.
That's a parody account that was floating that out today. This is the 3rd or 4th text we've gotten on it. There's a parody account that people are retweeting all day today.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, Marvin Harrison for Worthy.
In the bio of the person, it says parody takes. Adam like Feeler or something is what the Twitter account is. It's not real, guys. It's not real.
Oh, no, not really.
Who doesn't like a good trade hypothetical? But that report is inaccurate. So there's not a. What do you think about the rumor? There is no rumor. It's just literally I can make a fake Twitter account and say the Chiefs are considering trading Patrick Mahomes for a package of picks to Cincinnati for Joe Burrow and picks. And you guys are like, did you see the rumor? It's no different. I'm making it up. I won't do that. Don't worry.
You're gonna get buried in this town. Well, how many picks would it take?
Someone says, I got that trade offer in Madden and rejected the hell out of it. Someone else said, joke's on you guys. Believe everything you see.
On the internet?
Yeah.
I think what's craziest about this is...
And yes, I would make that trade. Worthy for Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously. Yes, I would make that trade.
You're quite a bit younger than us, obviously.
Yep.
But like Alex and I, and like, because I'm a few years older than Alex, I grew up in like the weirdest, my age and like people about 5 years older than me. Grew up in the weirdest timeline of, I firmly remember an era in which the internet was not a thing that was accessible to me regularly, and I did not have access to it regularly, and certainly nowhere near a phone or anything like that. And Alex remembers the no phone days, where you didn't carry it with you everywhere and everybody didn't have it. So like I grew up in a time, and then I remember all I was warned about in my life was don't believe everything on the internet. And now it's like everyone older than me who just believes everything they see on the internet. I'm going to need you to rein it in a little.
Yeah. My grandma not retweeting, but like reposting on Facebook and saying, I'm praying for you.
The worst.
On one of these AIs where it's like a car stuck on the train, but then the train's not
over this.
We've
got over this.
Tough living, Grandma.
The worst.
You told me not to believe in it. You don't believe in it.
The worst is on Facebook, where and especially for sports news. Like I mean, I've had family members in the past be like, did the Chiefs actually trade so-and-so? I'm like, no, they did not trade,
Oh, my mom falls for all the Travis Kelce and like Taylor Swift news. She's like, oh my God, you hear about it? I'm like, Mom, she did not bring cookies to the training camp. It's
what was the Isaiah Pacheco?
There's a bunch like
delivered his shoes to like kids in Ghana or something.
Well, there was even one. There's a fake one
saved
from Mahomes.
A cat sanctuary.
There was even one about. There was even a fake AI story about Mahomes, where it's like he helped some kid that was walking to football practice barefoot every day, and then it's an AI photo clearly of Mahomes handing him. And here's the real tell. He handed the kid Nike shoes. I can promise you, if Patrick Mahomes was giving shoes to anybody, they'd be Adidas. Like, there's a lot of reasons why it's fake, but that was the tell right away for me. I saw Nike shoes. I'm like, Mahomes not going to be anywhere near Nike shoes.
My mom
got an Adidas
My
deal.
mom sends me one. And it's like after Mahomes hurt his knee and he's in the hospital, and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are up there, and he's got the wrong leg up in the air. I'm like, Mom.
Yeah, man, it's a sad times.
I'm going to need you all
times.
to believe less that's on the internet.
It's
like,
bad.
Mom, how do you believe this? It's the wrong knee. She goes, well, how would I supposed to know what knee it happened to? I'm like, it's been all over the news.
Yeah, it's the internet AI stuff when it comes to some of the stories out there, especially the athlete ones. Most of them are fake.
Some of them are insane to believe, in my opinion.
Yeah, some are more believable than others.
You want to believe that Isaiah Pacheco donated his salary to save a cat sanctuary? Seems a bit far-fetched, but fine. Maybe you're too kind-hearted to not believe that it's not possible. You and I can't tell you how many things people share. Facebook is really the worst.
That's
culprit.
where it
I gotta
is.
say, easily the worst culprit.
It's the petri dish of
news.
fake AI.
Yeah, it's bad.
Stories.
It's bad. Some of y'all just believe in insane stuff.
I didn't think we were going to spend the final minutes of the
I
show.
didn't either, man. But he was talking about.
Well, it's because someone brought up Worthy and Harrison trade, and I'm like, that's a fake Twitter account. But we've all gotten got before.
Now, I will say, the ones on Twitter sometimes get you because they just change a little bit of the name, and you're like, oh crap.
But they're trying to make them seem believable.
This one though, this Twitter account,
right, exactly.
This Twitter account, literally, if you just click on it, it says right there, parody.
Right? Yeah.
But I understand.
Well, I've clicked through a profile,
Adam Feeler.
I've clicked through a profile. I guarantee you right now, I could find some AI headline that said Patrick Mahomes said to be unhappy.
Well, Craig Carnes out here trying to say that Kelsey's going to the New York Giants. So.
Yeah,
and he's a real person.
Yeah, he's
not even an AI meme generator.
The rumors that Travis Kelce is not going to retire.
Yeah.
That he wants to come back for another year, but he does not want to come back to Kansas City. I saw a story today that Travis Kelce wants to come back and wants to play for the New York Giants. That way, that's right. That way he and his wife can live in New York City. She goes to every game. She does not have a tour planned for next season.
Okay.
And Travis Kelce can be the fame whore that he is in the biggest media market in America. So I know it's just a rumor. I know that would bother everybody in Kansas City.
Yeah, Craig Carton up to his.
I gotta say,
tricks.
Craig Carton calling somebody else a fame whore is really something. Just never heard the phrase pot calling the kettle black, has he? Like, hey man,
Travis Kelce's not playing anywhere other than Kansas City if he comes back, and he's sure as hell. Why would he pick the Giants? Too much effort there on the Taylor Swift angle of the whole thing. As if she can't just fly to every game if she wanted to. You know how I know she can? Because she did essentially for two seasons ago. You know, this idea like, she just New York City because she wants to live. What are we doing? Come on.
You don't think he wants to?
Cleveland and Cincinnati would be higher than the Giants because of being in Ohio.
I think he'd be more likely to play. Yeah, you know what? You're right, JT. I think it's more likely Travis Kelce is a Brown than he is a Giant next year. That's how likely I think that rumor he heard from some New York-based drunkard. And again, his source the rumor had to be the drunkest guy he found working times. Some like hammered off his ass New York Times or New York
I love how he said article, but never said what article. He was like, yeah, in the article I read.
Yeah, I don't know where that rumor's right, as in just made up something. Yeah, I feel pretty confidently in saying that Travis Kelce, if he plays football next year, it'll be in a Chiefs uniform. I feel very confident in saying that.
The article is from a news outlet. That feels too strong. An outlet called Mandatory.
Never heard of it in my life.
Their headlines include OnlyFans keeps it bold in mini sheer shorts.
So it's just a gossip site.
And Kanye West wife pairs tights with sculpted top.
Gossip site. That makes way more sense.
That feels like something my mom would send me.
There you go. Yeah. My goodness. He's I can't, the worst. All right. Tomorrow, thanks JT, by the way, for filling in for Drew today. Great stuff. Up next, it's The Drive. Don't forget tomorrow, though, we'll have Josh Vernier join us from Arizona. Maybe a Royals player. We'll see. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successful.